Hailing frequencies are open. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Clear Skies, our Star Trek Adventures live play here on QueueTimes. I'm here with the Stream Punks for our last game of the year of Clear Skies, y'all. It's pretty surreal. It's ending in a significantly different place than where it started, but I still clearly remember the day where I was able to first say hailing frequencies are open, and I want to go ahead and start by saying this show exists because of all of you. Everything that we are doing right now, the support that you've been giving us on Patreon, the following us from Geek and Sundry to our own little independent space where you've been following our stories and helping us create, this all exists because of Ox Crew. You guys, some of y'all have been following us since we were walking the deck plates of the TARDIS. You followed us across Raft City and through the skies of Los Angeles, and now you've been following us through, once again, the Shackleton Expanse, and we can't thank you enough, and we're so grateful to have all of you. It's been a hell of a ride, but before we get into the sentiments, I'll save that for last. Does anybody have any announcements that they would like to get underway tonight? Somebody, are we wrapping up? Is that what's happening? Oh my God, I was about to say, what kind of show would this be if Bonnie or Xander 1 didn't have an announcement? Gee, making sure I was in the right reality. Go ahead, Bonnie, yes.
Wednesdays here on QueueTimes is Denver by Night. The vampire, whoop, my lights go down. The Vampire Masquerade show.
Literally by night.
Yes, I like to make it a dark, dramatic moment when I introduce the show. And Saturdays, of course, is Things in Space. I don't think I'm going to be on this upcoming Saturday because I have to be Mrs. Claus somewhere else. Speaking of that, I'll be posting some Mrs. Claus videos for Christmas, so look out for those, everybody.
Look forward to being scarred. Yeah.
Get ready to be scarred with my old lady.
All right. Anybody else got some announcements for us? Yes, Gina.
Just small one. Total Puppet Chaos has wrapped up, and Failed Save is back. So that's Fridays over on Pixel Circus's channel at 6 p.m. With Xander and I and some lovely people. And so we're back for season 2 with a new cast member. You may have heard of the amazing Abria.
Yay!
I know.
Oh my God! I was gonna say
oh my gosh!
You're gonna cause Sam's head to
explode.
So we now get the joy of gaming with Abria's Character Fest permanently from this point forward. So please watch it for that reason alone.
Very fun.
Inside info. Every single time I'm like, I want to run a game. Who should we? I don't get to finish my words before Sam DeLev is like, Abria, you've got to invite Abria. You've got to have
Because
Abria.
I'm a fan of taste and distinction.
Yes.
All right, Aki, you had an announcement?
But a caveat to that, Abria is also the busiest person on the planet. It's
For that reason.
What was I going to say? I am doing a really cool experimental D&D 5e show with a couple of the people who done things, I don't know, like work on the Oculus or, stuff like that, or super into like interactive gaming. And we're doing like a highly interactive D&D 5e game set in a homebrewed world with a bunch of homebrewed like races and stuff. I play a space gecko who is technically a monk who grapples with their tongue. We have somebody who like plays a literal jukebox. We've got like some fun stuff happening, and that's on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. over at the Maze TV show on Twitch. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we'll be doing it for the entirety of December. So if you want to come see some weird stuff, come hang out.
I do have an update. I can tell you officially, if it's okay to say this, and Rave, you can obviously slap me around a little bit if it's not, but I can tell you that the Bachelorette game is currently in planning. It is currently being planned. Is that correct, Ravity?
Yes. Like I said, we're looking to premiere it in the first quarter of next year, y'all. It's like right around the corner, and I'm very excited. And it's It's just gonna be a whole hot mess. If
gonna
anyone's been watching this season, just like know that I've tried to capture the essence of like the worst and the best of The Bachelorette and put it in to a 10 candles game. So like just another one of the brilliant things the Stream Punks are gonna be doing next year.
Is that using the 10 candle system?
Yes, it is.
Oh God.
It's gonna be great.
Should we? I would give that 5 raves. So good.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting, like adapting the 10 candle system, which obviously, like, you know, uses actual candles in a gameplay system, like over like a Zoom. So like figuring out how that translates and how I want to translate, it's been one of the funnest like parts of that.
Yay.
Yeah.
Fire.
Does anybody else have anything that Sander? Okay, yes, we got all the Stream Punks got stuff.
I wanted to use my announcement to wish Elisa Pearl a very, very happy birthday. Yay! Or not.
I don't know who that is.
I was muted.
She's the GM of this game called Blood of the Void. It's kind of the sibling game of this one. It used to have this other GM, but like he kind of, you know, oh yeah. I guess we shouldn't.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Eliza, who obviously has been a part of our family for a bajillion years now and who we love dearly. And also, just a quick happy birthday shout out to Blue Jay, who's like part of the extended like circle of friends of the Stream Punks family. I think she's actually streaming tonight for her birthday. So I think she's probably going to be going.
Her new hair looks so good.
Her hair looks amazing, right? She's rocking that. Let's see. I think unless there's nothing else, unless there's absolutely nothing else, there's no other announcements at all, unless no one has anything else to say.
Come on, who else wants to see how long he can vamp?
Well, before we get excited,
cliff.
before we get excited, because this is our last episode, I just want to wish everyone out there a happy holiday season and to stay safe and healthy, and that is all. Yeah. But we should also get excited, so I'm going to let Sam take that over.
I'm excited.
All right, you heard Captain Green Lips. It's time to jump into tonight's episode of Clear Skies. But in all honesty, E Honda would beat the crap out of Quark. I mean, I don't see that going any other way. Yeah, I just don't see that going any other way. Honda would just annihilate him. But it would be amazing.
Leave Quark out of this.
I would pay Latinum to see that. As much as I love Quark. I'm just saying. Okay. Well, tonight's episode of Clear Skies, we left off on a pretty fantastic episode. Actually, interestingly enough, this episode is picking up in the aftermath of the events of Blood of the Void, which happened recently. If you haven't caught up on that episode, this is your warning. You're about to learn what the outcome of that episode was. We're going to go ahead and skip most of the recap this evening, since last week was a very self-contained story and a very special one at that. The only things that are worth pointing out is EXEO, in a moment of serendipity, managed to discover the origin of her technology. Not only the origin of her technology, but the probable origin of her creator. Which leads us to our opening scene tonight on Clear Skies. We begin as we fade in to mid-afternoon during Alpha Shift. The USS Ross has been surveying gaseous anomalies. It's been one of those quiet assignments that you have all been surveying using a lot of the technologies that have been given to you all by the Dishashians. A lot of tests have been run with the high-resolution sensors that the USS Ross has been using because the Ross is trying to implement its technology to see if it can now start to build models of predicting when particle fountains might form. Now, particle fountains being exceedingly rare, it's not necessarily likely you're actually going to run into one. However, you might be able to determine where one is likely to emerge in, say, the next 1,000 years or so. And thus far, the Ross has been conducting survey experiments since its unusual encounter in its previous mission. As a result of this, the crew has once again been engaging in enrichment activities all over the ship. And indeed, it's particularly special this coming week as a Bajoran Midsummer's Festival is being celebrated on the promenade. Later this week, there is a festival that is going to be held on the promenade that is a harvest festival that is practiced on Bajor and is being coordinated with a few of the officers. Specifically, it's being coordinated by one of the more well-known, I should say, security officers? A lieutenant, or maybe not security actually, Lieutenant Nadra Badim. They have been coordinating the Harvest Festival arrangements. They are going to be seeing to it. Let me just get, I'm going to refer to this real quick. As we are basically pulling, by the way, this is a good moment, before we jump fully into the narrative here, this is a good moment to address Ox Crew real quick. If you guys have not gotten your scene yet, and a lot of you haven't, don't stress. No matter what happens at the champions level, you get your scene is going to be included in the game. No matter what, your characters are going to be baked into the narrative of Clear Skies. And tonight we got a couple, so I'm really excited to bring that in. So I apologize for anybody who hasn't gotten the chance to get their scenes in quite yet. That has a lot to do with just the fact that there's a lot happening in a game, and it really depends on where the winds take the Ross. But getting them in this week that is, by the way, yes, a confirmation security. Lieutenant Nadra Badim is security, and ex-Maquis Bajoran, who has departed with the USS Ross leaving space dock. And they are the ones that are currently organizing this Harvest Festival that's going to be taking place in a couple of days on the promenade deck. You are currently sitting at your desk, Captain, in your ready room, listening to your yeoman go over some of the activities that are going to be expected at the festival. The yeoman has just finished reading off a list of some very pleasant sounding like tea ceremonies, some celebrations, live music. Some of the staff has been asking if they can serve real non-replicated food that they've been saving for events just like this one. When you see Yeoman Shanto pauses for a moment, and Asmi looks at it and says, and I'm in a play, Captain. As it turns out, I haven't been told what my part is yet, but one of our officers is doing an Earth play called Midsummer Night's Dream and has been casting a bunch of people, and I agreed. I have been asked if you would like to partake.
There's a very, very large crew full of thespians. I think perhaps we'll let them have a shot at it first. It'd be unseemly to pull rank. Besides, I don't really think there's much in Midsummer for me.
I will put you in as a no. You are smarter than I was. Okay.
May I roll an insight check, please, Eric?
Sure.
Is Shanto actually upset about this? Or is she just like, I'm in the...
Okay, this is going to be a contested roll. All right.
Absolutely.
Difficulty is 1. You're rolling your insight command.
I am.
This is great. Hold on, let me pull out her stats. It's been a while since I've had to pull out Asmi's stats.
It's been a while.
Oh, here we go. So you're rolling, you're rolling insight command, and she is rolling presence command.
I do have a
difficulty is 1. It's a contested roll, and go. Not even a bump.
That's 2 successes from me.
Yeah, she got nothing.
Oh.
You sense nerves. It's stage fright. She is very nervous. Which is kind of surprising because this is the woman who is literally training to get in front of large audiences to make cases and defend in courtrooms and whatnot. But when it comes to performance, it seems like you can see she's a little uncomfortable.
You know, the lovely thing about plays is you rehearse them until you have them absolutely right. Should be perfect for a detailed-oriented person like yourself.
She glances up from the data pad and smiles and nods, and then she glances up again. You see this recognition click in her eyes as she realizes the reason why you're saying this is you can see her nerves. And she just goes, I'm fine. It'll be all right. I'll just keep thinking about the time that we saved the planet from the crystalline entity, and all will be well.
Do keep me posted on the cast list.
Ambassador OLYN MADZHIN-NIL is going to be in it, and I've pretty much been asked to ask the entire senior staff, Captain.
I'm pretty sure you'll sucker the commander into it.
I suspect EXEO will probably leap on this. Yes, Captain. There's a chirping sound when you hear Pral's voice come up on your comms and say, Captain, we're receiving a priority 1 message from Narendra Station.
All right. I'll be out on the bridge and put it through. I get up from my seat in the ready room, turn back to Shanto and say, make sure you ask him. He really ought to be in it.
Pral? Yes, Captain. May I say that you ordered me to do so, Captain?
Ordered? I'd never dream of it.
Aye, Captain. You step out and you see the transmission is already up on the main screen. And as you step out, Vryn looks over at you from the helm and says, Captain, Narendra Station started broadcasting a yellow alert 15 minutes ago. They've sent out a priority 1 message. Apparently there's some kind of an assault or an attack on the station.
All right. We need to get back there at high warp. Vryn, now.
Aye, Captain. Setting course for Narendra Station. Pral says, Captain, I have Admiral April Hebert on the line for you.
All right, put her through.
The screen comes live, and you see Hebert sitting down at her desk right as the screen comes up, and the lights are flashing red behind her. And you can hear her saying, "Could someone just turn that damn thing off already?" And when she sees you, she goes, Captain.
Sir, I got quite the alarming missive from you.
Yes, I'm having to send out a message to all ships in the area because, as standard protocol dictates, when a Federation starship or a Federation star base comes under attack, usually the neighboring ships and star bases are alerted. In this case, there's a priority 1 message going out all across the quadrant, and I'm having to make phone calls right now, as they used to say. We've had some activity.
By whom?
The Klingons and their internal politics came into play recently. And by recently, I mean in the past 45 minutes, Captain.
They're attacking the station?
Not exactly. To summarize quickly what's taken place here. General Kargan is dead.
What?
One of the commanders of a Klingon warship beamed an assault squad onto the station, setting off station alarms. By the time that we could get to the area in question, a mysterious log was uploaded by my permission after a case was made, indicating that Kargan was working closely with one Admiral Sela. Once this information was broadcast all over Narendra Station, this Klingon commander took it upon themselves to use that as evidence to challenge Kargan to a fight to the death. Kargan accepted, they fought, she nearly died, and Kargan was executed in front of his men. She's currently resting in sickbay now. I've got orders from Starfleet not to do anything. This is internal Klingon politics.
So, the alert and the attack on the station.
We can tell you now that the alert was basically a precaution. We weren't sure what was happening. Not to mention I had 4 armed Klingons, one of them the size of a damn monolith, standing in my office with disruptors. But things seem to have calmed down, and Ambassador Jal has formally submitted an apology on behalf of the Klingon Empire. I've also personally received a message from the Klingon High Chancellor. This is the way they do things, Captain. And the Klingons won't do anything with Kargan's body. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Klingons believe that once someone dies, their body is a useless husk of meat and worthless, since the spirits moved on. I'm having to arrange its disposal. It's not what I expected to be doing as a Starfleet officer.
At a certain point, I suppose we all reach unexpected duties.
Course is laid in, Captain, you hear Vryn say as he pivots, looks back at you. Shall I engage?
Do you need us, Admiral?
Not yet, but I have a feeling that the Klingon Empire is going to be sending a new general to be their liaison here at Narendra Station, and when that happens, I'll need all of my officers back on Narendra. Do you have Klingons on your ship, Captain? Those sound like Borklons.
I just shoot a quick look at Patience as being an absolute angel. And then over at Orwell making all the noise and being a little shit. No Borklons, Admiral. We'll be on our way in order to meet you presently. Then.
It's going to be a whole different situation when you arrive at Narendra. I don't know what the political situation or the landscape is going to look like, but apparently a lot of pieces had to fall into place for that information to finally get out. I don't know how the Klingons managed to uncover the duplicity of General Kargan, but with that general out of the way, whoever is filling his place is going to sculpt Klingon relationships with the Federation here in the Shackleton Expanse. I hope they send us somebody that we like. Though between you and me, Captain, and your bridge crew, I don't think we could have done much worse than Kargan.
Certainly, you are without one colleague to complain about, sir. May the next be less worthy of it.
Well, I've got to go make a bunch of reassuring calls now to Starfleet. I'll see you soon. Narendra out.
Engage, friend.
Aye, Captain. Setting course, warp 7. All right.
Did we know who it was? The commander?
EXEO can certainly find out for you.
Yeah, I'm basically leaning to either side of me. Like, does diplomacy know? Is it in the file somewhere? Like,
someone might be suspicious.
I think OLYN, the entire time this conversation has been happening, has been very thankful that they are incredibly dark skinned. Otherwise, they'd be bright red. But when the captain leans over, kind of trying to figure out what's going on, OLYN just sort of gives them a look, but doesn't say anything right away. Just sort of, I think they give the captain a look, and then they kind of look in the direction of the ready room, and that's about it.
Okay. All right, I'll make a note. Guess it's not really a right now thing.
I mean, it could be, but OLYN's letting you decide how badly you want to know what's going on.
I mean, yeah, we'll either find out at Narendra. It's presumably going to be public information, and from what I understand, the only thing ever to hit Warp 10 is gossip.
I'm sure that everything is under control there. I'm very sure that everything's under control there, Captain.
Yes, the Admiral did describe something that sounded very under control. That's how I'd characterize it. Prawl, was that how you'd characterize it, under control?
Prawl looks like he's searching for his words for a second and just says, maybe adjacent to control, Captain?
Adjacent. There we are.
I would like to pull up my file and send it to Prawl.
You throw the file at Prawl?
I'm not going to let her. I don't care what. I mean, I very much adore and respect Admiral. It's still Admiral, right?
Yeah, actually, she's Vice Admiral now.
I knew. I was like, she got promoted.
But Admiral works, yeah. You don't have to say Vice. You can just say
Admiral April Airbear, but we're still going there, so I want to know all the information.
Okay.
I'm sharing it directly with Prawl.
I mean, as the EXEO, you basically are getting in live reports as to what's been taking place at Narendra Station, and because you're one of the Starfleet ships on the scene here in the sector, you are getting the live updates. So it's an easy, just quick, as the captain has been making the request to pull that up, EXEO, and you toss it over to Prawl. It slides up like you're sliding, off of a data pad onto his console. A hologram begins to appear right in front of his tactical station, and he begins to sit through it for a moment. And he stops and goes, I have the information here, Captain, if you'd like to see it.
Sure, toss it over. To be honest with you, it's mostly gossip.
Throws it up on the screen. You see a very fierce-looking Klingon woman with a fire in her eyes. It's underneath these thick brows. You see what comes up on the screen is Commander Bamir. Commander Bamir, and it would appear that she is the commander of a vessel called the IKS Borku. The house that she is a member of, Kvek, you've never heard of. It must be a smaller house or a house that's defunct, you're not sure. But you're not familiar with that one. It's not one of the major houses of the Klingon Empire. Interestingly enough, though...
Crew and Greece and
Yes,
statues, and I can't put the context together. Why are those things associated in my brain?
We've worked with her crew. That's why they're associated. When we were trying to help our Ferengi friend find his ship and his brother, we didn't actually meet the commander, just her bridge crew. A few of them, anyway.
Oh, seems like they sure are something. She certainly is.
The Borku is an interesting duck. That is what looks like a Cavort class bird of prey, but one of the things that's noted in the Starfleet file is it still has vectored wings, which is intrinsic only to earlier class Burrell class birds of prey. They didn't need to do that once they made the Burrell class the size of a Cavort. Once it jumped scales, it was no longer necessary to vector the wings in order to appropriately navigate the energy distribution throughout the ship so that it could jump to warp. Now, all of a sudden, the disruptors are in a perfectly aligned position, so Cavort-class birds of prey have planed wings. This one, however, apparently was the prototype for the cavort. And once it was discovered that vectored wings were not necessary, the ship was mothballed or given to one of the other houses. And the new cavort class, the IKS cavort, was made. So you're looking at a relic that's been re-established in the Klingon Empire, a unique vessel onto its own. And probably belonging to a minor house. But yes, it looks like she has a storied military career that served in the Dominion War, but not much else is known about her.
Right. I look to the ambassador. I look back to my ready room. I make a sort of like, maybe at some point soon. This is interesting kind of face. And move forward, look over to EXEO, and Yemen asked me to see if there's anything else immediately other than, well, whoops our plans, we go back to Narendra now.
EXEO, as you acknowledge, there's an indicator takes place, you sense it the moment it happens, and you guys see on screen, in real time, a live correction to the data file you're looking at.
Oh.
Commander becomes captain right in front of you.
Good for her.
And then you lose the file. Yeah, Prawl makes the same expression. He raises his hands and looks over at you, EXEO.
Yes. Do I have a copy in my database?
You have a copy of what you just saw,
Yeah.
but now that file is inaccessible.
Classified or disappeared?
It looks like it looks like it was just given a security rating that's above you and the captain.
I just give a very, very, I just slow turn to the captain and then slow turn to Prawl of impressed face. Yeah, okay.
Prawl
This
just
is a much more interesting story than I anticipated.
Prawl doesn't look like he fully understands what just happened, and says, "It's. I guess we just saw a promotion. Odd."
Captain keeps their counsel.
Okay, you are 41 hours away from Narendra Station at Warp 7.
Anything on long range, Lieutenant?
Roll.
Checking now, Captain.
Dun dun dun.
New sensors are working beautifully,
Yep.
right? Yay, great.
Difficulty is 0.
Great.
Whoever would like to roll for the ship, please go ahead.
Oh, beautiful. And I'm going to use my sensors focus, so that's 3 successes, my friend.
Okay.
All right, we're at 4 momentum.
And 2 more from the
Hi,
Roth.
sorry. Oh, then we are all the way up.
Okay. Nothing of significance is appearing on long-range sensors. I will say that you do detect a gravimetric anomaly, which the sensors have gotten really good at picking up here in the Shackleton Expanse. It's an easy course correction for Varen just to make note of it and make sure that the Ross does not come in contact with it.
Great. But you know what? Let's collect some data on that as we fly by it.
Okay.
I think that wherever Jane can get her anomaly fixed, she'll take it. And so as we're entering back to Narendra, she'd just like to know a little bit more about that one. But yeah, She tells her captain that it's clear skies.
All right.
Funny way to say it, but thank you, Lieutenant.
Roll credits.
And that was our episode. All right.
Okay.
So with that momentum, I'm going to go ahead and put that rule into place where I'm not going to If we do quick scene changes, I don't want to deduct momentum from you guys, so I'll just say like every few scene changes we'll do it, since we're going to be jumping all over the ship today.
Okay.
But heading out at warp 7, yes, you have a goodly amount of time. The Harvest Festival is scheduled to begin in 2 days, so you have time to make your trip back to Narendra. Yeah. What would you guys like to do in this 41 hours of time that you have? Or would you like to just jump ahead?
I would like to just add a flavor that Commander EXEO asks Asmi Shanto if they would like to rehearse with them after Alpha Shift.
Okay, when you bring that up to Asmi, the first thing she does is she immediately shoots a glance over at LAKAT to see if she heard you. And when she's convinced LAKAT is too busy scanning that anomaly, she looks back at you and she goes, "How did you know?"
Oh, I've been cast. I'm rehearsing with everyone on the sheet.
Oh.
I don't know the parts, but I figured I know them all, so might as well start practicing.
Yes, Commander.
Good way to get comfortable.
Okay.
Great. Do you have a part you'd like to play?
She starts to fidget with her earring. No doubt something that her family yelled at her for doing when she was growing up. She kind of fidgets with it for a second and just says, I asked for something small and I got someone called Snug the Joiner.
Wonderful. Well, let's go then.
Okay. She just runs her hands through her hair and just tries to act casual as she walks past LAKAT and moves towards the turbolift. It's like the two of you step inside. What's that?
All right.
Yeah.
Another time?
No, this is good. This is good. It's a good time. This is really good time.
Was it inappropriate for me to ask you while we were still on the bridge?
There's nothing in regulation that says that it was inappropriate.
I'm asking you personally, not regulation.
No, of course not. No.
You just seemed very agitated the moment I brought it up.
Oh, nervous. Just nervous.
About the play?
Yes.
All right. Then let's shake those nerves, shall we?
Aye, Commander.
Shoot.
If OLYN is on the bridge at this moment, I think that you get like Kat is definitely paying attention to that interaction from like heavy side eye. But I think OLYN gets a burst of like confusion because Jane now thinks that there is something between Shanto and the commander, and that's where Jane's brain is.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my God, were
Welcome
they?
to Degrassi High.
Did I? Oh no. Okay, and so she's having kind of an identity crisis now. So anyway, that's
OLYN is just gonna make a note. Just a note of that. It's fine.
you just get like a burst of like a confusion of just like, have I been reading all the signs wrong? Anyway, here we are.
Okay.
This is gay panic if ever I've seen or heard of it.
Okay. Down in main engineering, Dari has been waiting patiently for one of the ensigns to finish talking to you. Serious business has been taking place, Chief, as you guys have been monitoring the warp core ever since everything happened when you guys finished building that subspace relay.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have been monitoring, as always, the warp cores, the EPS conduits. Until this campaign wraps, I will constantly stress how much that puts on the crew to have to constantly monitor the USS Ross's EPS conduits.
We're dancing, Eric. We're dancing.
Right. One of the ensigns clears out, and Ensign Dari walks up to you and says, "Sir, I'm sorry, can I speak to you for a moment?"
Sure. Just a second, and I'll sit down the pad that I was working on. What can I do for you?
You can tell just by the way her Andorian antennae are stiffened that she is agitated.
Oh.
She just says, I need your advice with something.
Sure. Happy to help, but do you want to get a drink at 10 forward or something? Or
No, I not 10 forward. I can't go there. They'll be there.
the holodeck then? My shift should be ending soon. Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Why don't you meet me on the holodeck? Okay. I just got some things to finish up here, and I'll meet you right there.
Which holodeck?
Let's do holodeck 1. I think
Holodeck
that
1.
should be free.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And you'll see Tech watches as she leaves frame type of thing. And Chief Tech to Dr. McCrell.
I am muted.
I
Dr.
think
McCrell.
you're muted.
Yes.
Could you meet Ensign Dari and myself in holodeck 1? It seems like Ensign's going through something.
Of course, I'll be right there.
Thank you.
Okay. As you're saying this, Tech, you watch one of the other ensigns walking past Dari, glance up from her data pad and see Dari's expression and socially distance. Like she saw the expression on the Andorian's face and decided to give her some space. And
what is the other? Do I know the other person's name?
The other ensign?
The other ensign?
I can come up with that for you because the Ox crew is kind enough to supply me with a whole host of names.
Thank you.
Yes, let's just pull this baby out. See, this is going to be This is going to be engineering. Sure thing. This is Lieutenant Tuzak. Or I'm sorry, Tuzk. Tuzk.
Okay.
Saurian. Computer
Saurian.
system.
He, him?
Yes. Tuzk.
Great.
Yep.
I'll take a little mental note of that and head over to holodeck 1.
Okay. A few minutes later, you show up at holodeck 1 just as McCrell is showing up to holodeck 1. And the two of you meet at about the same moment right in front of the doors of the holodeck. You can hear the program is running inside. You can see the computer console indicating as much.
Thank you for meeting me, Doctor. I know that you're not the ship's counselor, but I think the commander has her digital hands full with the festival and everything, and I think Ensign Dari is getting a little bit out of my experience. She seems to be having a lot of emotions that may be affecting her performance, and it might have to do with someone else in the engineering room as well, and I'm not very good at dealing with that.
I understand. You do not enjoy confrontation.
That's a way to put that. Yeah, okay. So she's going to meet us in there, and we were just going to get a drink.
Great. Does she know that I am interrupting and also intruding on this?
Oh, no. That's a surprise. I was hoping you to be able to help me out with that part, too. I should ask that one first.
Yes, because she might have invited you to speak with you alone, and I would hate to intrude on something a little more personal.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Let me just go first, and I'll go and
I will wait here.
Okay.
The doors open, and you are greeted with an arboreal paradise waiting for you inside. What you see is a lush forest with a gentle fog resting just above the tall grass that is dewed. The trees themselves almost all look like willow trees, and there is an abundance of blossoming flowers found throughout all of the bushes that are all around you. As you step in, you are walking on these small whetstones that are just soaked with dew. The sound of your feet and the chirping sounds of distant animals all around you. It is paradise.
Wow.
And you hear an Andorian screaming, "Fuck this!"
Hey, Ensign, it's Chief Tech. I'm coming in.
As you walk in, she rounds the corner. You see an angry-looking Andorian wearing a toga, holding a data pad, and just going, I don't know what half of these fucking words mean, sir.
I think your universal translator might be a little on the fritz. The words that you're saying, it's a lot.
Sorry.
Is there a problem?
Sorry, Chief. I just needed... You see her eyes widen as she sees down the path with an open holodeck.
Yeah.
Macrell just kind of standing there and just... and you wave, and she slinks back towards the trees and goes,
Oh,
why is she here?
Oh, well, I invited the doctor to come along. Well, I thought we were just getting a drink. I didn't know what's going on with the garden and the
holodeck for a drink.
Yeah, but what's with this energy? I am very uncomfortable with what you've brought into the holodeck at this moment. Why are we shouting?
I'm gonna go, I'm going to go. I think you need to...
She peers out from behind a tree like she's naked, and she's like, bye, thank you.
You look very nice in your toga.
Oh my God.
What do you do?
I asked you here because I wanted your help talking me out of doing this.
The toga?
No.
Because it's working, if you want my opinion.
Have you heard about this stupid play they're doing on the promenade deck in a few days for the Bajoran Harvest Festival?
Oh, sure. I mean, we've been working real hard on the food. Did you know we're trying to get real stuff? We don't want any of the replicated things.
Could you put me on your team to make the food?
Well, I mean,
you really need me. You really need me on this, Chief.
The thing is, Ensign, you're kind of a terrible cook.
But I'm great at telling you you're good.
Sure, and I think you would be very good at that on stage in front of other people.
I can't be the only one that got harassed into this.
Oh, come on now. Think of it as something that's broadening your horizons.
They bullied me.
Huh?
They bullied me. They cornered me. They had a phaser.
Ensign, you don't strike me as someone who is easily bullied.
People keep telling me that Shakespeare is this great human playwright. And how many versions of English are there?
Oh, gee willikers, there are. Gosh, so darn many. I mean,
look at ridiculous language I've ever seen in my life. How does a universal translator even understand what this is?
There was a OLYN poet who was supposedly one of the greatest poets of all time, but spoke only in burp. Very hard to understand, but very artistic once you grasp the concept. And fragrant.
So you're going to be making food?
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind if I ran lines with you?
Oh, sure. Let's just take a little look-see at what you got here. Huh? What part are you?
I haven't been cast yet, but I wanted to read for Demetrius. He seems like my type.
Well, here's the thing, Ensign. Worrying is suffering twice. This thing is going to happen, whether you want it to or not. If you're going to worry about it, you're just suffering the whole time. But if it's going to happen, might as well have the best time. You already picked a character that you like. See?
All right. Okay. And the two of you begin to read Shakespeare.
Also, just as a note, Tech is awful. He's terrible at reading lines and is terrible at speaking.
You know what I'm gonna do? This might be...
Oh no.
Hold on. I haven't had to pull up Dari's stats in ages.
Oh, okay.
Hold on one sec. Ooh. This would just be the worst thing to spend threat on. So I'm not, this is the
Never heard
cruelest.
that pronunciation of best.
Spend threat on stage fright.
Shit.
Oh,
Oh my god. Okay.
Is she a secret prodigy?
What's that?
Is she a secret theater prodigy?
She is Kate Blanchett. She is Judi Dench. She is like, as she's reading these lines, she insists that she doesn't know what the hell she's reading, but her delivery and reading of Demetrius is so committed. You're hearing this human that she is reading for, just a complete bastard of a guy.
And she just gets iambic pentameter like nothing.
Yeah.
Seems to come rather naturally to her. You're watching her. If she doesn't understand what she's reading, she's either lying or she's amazing at faking it. But this is coming naturally to her. And when she stops halfway through the sentence, she's like, why does he even want this dude's wife? Like, they're gonna get engaged. This doesn't even make sense. Like, he's got a fine woman like flirting with him, and he's like, this.
Ensign, I'm gonna need you to keep going because I need to know what happens, okay? And this is fantastic. So we're gonna need you to pick it up a little bit and keep going.
Really?
Yeah, you're great. I'm invested now.
If there's anyone on board this ship that knows Chief Tech and his propensity for not bullshitting people, to a fault, she notes the surprising lack of sarcasm and passive aggression in your voice. And you see this. Okay. Okay.
We're on page 47.
47.
Yeah, keep going.
And we pull away as she stands there in this paradise, reading off Shakespeare to you, and you're just listening to her. Sometimes forgetting to look down at the script and read back to her as she starts delivering Demetrius. What is everyone else doing? Duty shift is starting to creep towards an end. Word is spreading throughout the ship that the casting for Midsummer Night's Dream has been taking place. But that's not the only performance that'll be happening at the festival on the promenade. There's a lot of live music that's going to be played there too. Word is also spreading that something happened on Narendra Station. No one knows what. Bridge crew's keeping its mouth shut, but it's known all throughout the ship that something has happened. What's up, Aki? OLYN has something?
Yeah, I think OLYN's headed to the diplomatic suites because I think they have somebody they need to contact.
Okay.
And check in with.
Okay. You established the secure connection?
Yeah.
Are you calling your friend or are you calling an embassy?
My friend.
Okay. Secure connection comes online and there's a waiting period, like you're waiting for them to answer the call. When finally you see the face of Sorex appear in front of you. It says, news does travel fast.
It certainly does. But it appears everything more or less worked out for good.
More or less.
We're on our way to the station now.
As expected. I don't know who the Klingons are going to have replace the general.
No, I imagine it's a little bit too soon for that, even for someone as thrifty with information as you.
It's true. I have caught word, though, that the Klingon High Chancellor himself has taken an active interest in assigning the station its next general.
That's good. From what I know of the Chancellor, he is extremely honorable and trustworthy.
Martok is unique. He's not a fool, and he doesn't let people manipulate him. And he doesn't put his own personal glory ahead of the Empire. Gowron was more fun.
I never had the chance to meet Gowron, but I heard a bit about him here and there. He was very interesting.
Yes. What can I do for you, Ambassador?
I mostly wanted to check to see everything was all right, but I also figured that if we are on our way to Narendra, I might as well know what's going on, see if there's anything I need to be prepared for.
The only thing I would have to add to the situation is that reminder that just because Kargan is dead doesn't mean he doesn't still have allies on board Narendra Station. They've gone into hiding, no doubt, and might stay there for some time. It's probably why the Klingon High Chancellor is himself taking an active interest in this.
Whoever he puts there is going to be his eyes on the ground.
Martok will probably install someone of his personal inner circle. If Sela was making moves through the Shackleton Expanse, it means this place has an interest for her. Probably not as a territory, but just as a way of moving things, if that makes any sense. Information, goods, it's the back door, as it were. He's going to make sure that doesn't happen ever again. He'll probably install somebody who's recently promoted to a general. He'll probably make sure that they have some kind of background in intelligence, and probably someone who actually likes the Federation. Kargan had none of these things.
He may not have been an ideal or even nice person to work with. And it's obvious that he had someone's interest in mind, mostly his own. But for the time that he served there, he did at least, for his part, try to keep something resembling a balance in that place.
I suppose. Fascinatingly enough, because he died in a duel, he retains his honor. The Klingons made sure that the Black Fleet was aware that he was coming. His name will be spared its disgrace, as it should be. His family will not suffer. I question that, but Martok is very interested in making sure that the Empire is united. This is not the same as, say, informing the Romulans to commit a surprise attack on the namesake colony of the station that you're headed towards right now. Not quite the same crime. Seems like his family will survive to see another day.
How's Ambassador Bajino responded to all of this?
I have not gotten a make on him just yet, but my initial instinct tells me that Pagino was surprised that Sela's Reach had arrived at Narendra Station.
Don't suppose she might still be floating around out there somewhere, do you?
No. My instinct tells me that right now, with my father having returned to the Empire, she has too many things to take care of back home to deal with Klingon politics any further.
That is a relief to hear.
For you, perhaps.
I just happen to know there are certain things that are more difficult to let go of when they're in your backyard.
That might be true. I receive updates from Romulus from time to time. Things are starting to look better back there. It would be a shame if Sela disturbed that.
I don't know what power it is in my possession to help, but whatever I can do.
Thank you, Ambassador. But I think I'm going to return many of the favors that you've given me since that day I put a gun to your head. Simply, it is this. I'm teaching you the skill sets that I know to support you in your role as an ambassador. Trust me when I say, you don't want to get involved with any of this.
Yes, it was a little uncomfortable to receive that call from the Admiral, knowing full well what was going on and not having told anyone else.
Good. One of the most dangerous things that can happen to you is how comfortable you can make yourself when it comes to lying. That's not the Federation way, if I remember correctly.
Withholding information from my captain is not something I relish, no.
You haven't told Azuri yet?
No, I think I plan to, if they ask.
One of the things that I was trained at was creating profiles of people that I met, being able to understand what made them tick. I was almost as good as EXEO, which is a compliment unto itself since I don't have gigaquads of information at my disposal. I'll tell you this, though. The sooner you talk to your captain, the better it's going to be for you.
I appreciate the advice and the guidance.
Remember this, OLYN. You're an ambassador to the Federation. You did your job. You used the ambassadorial channels. You did some political favors. You got the information you needed. I handled the rest. The Federation had no part in this, as far as I'm concerned. Kargan was corrupt. The Klingon Empire is grateful. This was a win-win for everyone. Sol is former intel. They'll understand.
I certainly hope so.
Me too. I'd hate to be getting rusty and being able to predict people. But it has been known to happen.
Well, I'm sure I won't see you anytime soon, but I know you'll see me.
Nonsense! I hear the USS Ross is headed back to Narendra Station. See you very soon.
OLYN out.
Screen cuts out. Patience looks up at you, cocking her head to the left, noticing that the parental unit is distressed.
I scratch behind her ears. Ready to go face the brass?
She raises a paw, like she's trying to understand what you're saying to her, and she just lowers it again.
In a one more moment of delay, OLYN opens their pad and starts scrolling through Midsummer, and then also kind of looks at the cast that has been decided so far, and then back at the parts that are still available, and is kind of flipping between the two. And they think they have a good idea of what part they want to read for, but they're just sort of scrolling through.
Okay.
As OLYN, oh sorry, I'm so sorry, Rave. Did you have something?
No, you go first.
I was saying, as OLYN is scrolling through in the Star Trek cutscene way, you cut to a different pad scrolling through medical files of everyone's name as I'm sitting at my desk with a cup of tea, and you can see me transferring a name to another pad as I transfer Dari onto that pad, because McCurl hasn't been asked into the play yet, and so she's making a list of all the names that she knows of people who've been asked and all the characters, and so she's just waiting to be asked to be a part of the play, but no one's asked yet, so she's just waiting patiently with the two, like, looking to see how many parts are left and how many people she knows are in it, since she's just all Dari and Toga. The end.
So actually, Jane is going to be knocking on Macrell's door in just a second. If I can take a scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that Jane, who is going through this, like, you know what, I'm just gonna avoid the entire Harvest Festival, and that's gonna be my game plan, and like I don't want to confront any of it, has now considered maybe she's considered maybe taking a look at this play, and she's like, who would be good at like dramatic things? And so of course Macrell is the first person that comes to mind for her, and so so you see her approaching, entering the med bay and heading straight for you, Macrell.
Ah, LAKAT.
Yeah, doctor.
Is everything all right?
Yeah, the things are fine. All my vitals, I think all my vitals are good.
You think? Do I need to scan you? Like, I immediately get out a tricorder and like.
No,
check
I'm fine. I'm fine. It's just we're going back to Narendra. Who would have thought? But under such circumstances, it's anyway.
It's a lot, yes.
Yeah. So you know plays. You seem like a person who would know plays.
Yes, I like to escape into fantasies sometimes, and I like to read, even though it seems like sometimes my words do not seem as eloquent.
I mean, I think that back when we were in Paradise City, you did a very convincing job of stepping into the shoes of your character, and I don't know. Are you going out for the Midsummer Night's play? Jane is like off,
and then I almost correct them and say dream, but don't. It's not worth it. I have not been asked yet to be a part of the cast, and I do not want to overstep my place with the people who are coordinating, but by all means, if you'd like to, have you been asked to be a part of it? Because I can help you.
And like, I mean, thank God, because I'd probably say no, but I'm thinking like maybe I should probably say yes. And like, I kind of want to go out for it right now, but like, I don't even know where to begin. And Midsummer Night's Dream, Sky?
That was it. You had it right. Midsummer's Night Dream.
Got it.
That's the end. That was it. No more words.
Got it. No more words. I'm thinking about auditioning and I need help.
Technically, it's a Midsummer's Night's Dream. Sorry, that's not important.
I mean, no. See, already helping me. What is this? I don't even know.
I honestly, think that you would be wonderful, because even though you like to, I would not say bury, but maybe sometimes diminish your outer emotions, I feel that you are a very passionate person. And believe it or not, sometimes theater can help you channel what you are trying to communicate on the inside to the outside.
She like listens to that and absorbs that, and I think that like after a second you get like a thank you, and she seems lost in her thoughts for a second. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you technically just did.
Okay, so well then I'm gonna ask you another one. So
yes.
And I think that like she starts pacing, right? So I'm going to construct a hypothetical situation here for you that I need you to answer, I think, in just like the most with a scientist's eye. Dr. McCrell, from scientist to scientist, like I just need an objective view here.
And like and you see her grab for another cup of tea because she thinks this is gonna be a 2-cupper.
Time to double fist some tea.
So you have someone who is extremely confident in everything that they do. Brilliant, intelligent, beautiful,
Thank you.
Yes. I think that you actually fill all these categories, but we're talking about a hypothetical person here, right?
Yes, of course.
So you've got this person, right? Who just like confidence, right? Like they want to like defend cases in the future, right? And just like, go up against an entire courtroom, right? So like, why would that person ask someone else to help with rehearsal? Can we just step back for a second and like, why would that person ask someone else?
Ask someone else in
just like help them out with something that they are clearly already so good in.
Well, if you're talking about someone who would possibly be in the play, perhaps they are very confident in themselves, but not as confident in playing someone else. To where when you have to embody someone different, you do not want to be embarrassed in front of others. Or maybe they would like to perfect their skill before presenting it in front of someone that they also think is confident and perfect.
And Jane just like kind of squints at you with that like Cardassian stare and is like, or they're looking for an excuse to spend more time with the other person.
That is also a very good assumption. But if this other person...
Say that like you see her face kind of fall, like, yeah.
But if that other person is also already cast in this production, then perhaps it was a common sense of rehearsing together, since they will also be castmates. And if they did not ask someone else, it was because that someone else was not a part of that production?
You're right.
Are we talking about you?
Clearly the only thing to do is to enter the play and win them over. Show them I'm better. Duh. It's the Cardassian way.
This is the way.
I don't think that your motivation behind joining the play is quite as healthy, but I do agree with you joining the production. I feel like motivation aside, I feel like you would be wonderful in the production. And if by chance you do go and ask to be cast, maybe put in a good word for me and let them know that I am also...
Oh no, we're doing this together. I can't do this alone.
I chug my tea.
You down the rest of that tea.
LAKAT, I would be honored to go and help you join this production as well as myself. As moral support to help you, of course.
I also need you to tell me what the whole play is about, because I have not read it.
It is about lovers and mischief and magic.
Who are the lovers?
Pardon?
Who in the play, who are the lovers?
There is Hermia, who is the beautiful woman that both men are in love with.
Okay.
Lysander, who is in love with her and engaged. Demetrius. No, not engaged. Demetrius, who loves her and wants to be engaged. She runs off with Lysander. Helena is in love with Demetrius, chases after, and then a lot of mischief and magic happen. Now both men, Lysander and Demetrius, fall in love with Helena. Hermia is left to be sad. Then Helena thinks it's all a joke. Hermia, Helena, they fight. Demetrius, and you see, and I'm gonna go through the whole play.
He's gonna go
and while this is happening, there's another play being rehearsed in the forest, and the man turns into an ass.
And
you see McCrell get really excited about this.
Who are you gonna go for?
The ass! No, not the sorry. I got,
it is worth noting that both the universal translator and the full scope of knowledge to LAKAT, you're not LAKAT. Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Do you think LAKAT would be aware that ass is another term used for a burro or donkey?
Well, LAKAT spent a few years on Earth, but like I would say no otherwise.
So what LAKAT hears is that someone turns into the posterior end of a biological life form at some point during this play.
A very hairy ass.
What?
That's what he turns into, but the magic and mischief that they cause the other men to fall in love with the Helena makes the fairy queen fall in love with his hairy ass, and she pets him and loves him. It's very bizarre, but it's beautiful play about love and lovers, and all happens in one midsummer's night.
That's why it's called Midsummer Night's Sky.
No. But very close. You know what? I'm gonna link arms with LAKAT. I think I shall tell you it more detail on the way, and we shall pick you apart.
Is there a villain?
Not really a villain per se, more like a mischievous essence that causes all of
about that one.
Chaos.
And that's what you hear as like
the two of you leave. I love that LAKAT's anxiety, relationship, gay panic is turning LAKAT into a very wholesome member of the Obsidian Order.
Into a thespian! Into a thespian! Okay?
I must manipulate my way into this play.
I mean, there's just such a Pinky in the Brain vibe here. Just like, in order to take over the world, we must infiltrate.
We must become a hairy ass. Become part of the play.
I will do it if it is what's necessary.
Sol, where are you right now?
10 forward with a cup of whatever it is Solon gives me, because dealer's choice, they know better than I do, and a copy of Midsummer Night's Dream, which I haven't read since I was in school.
Okay. As Solon sets the cup down in front of you, you hear not Solon's voice say, good book. What are you reading? What are you reading? What are you reading? And snatches the data pad away from you. In front of you, with long, gorgeous, flowing black hair in this deep emerald green, royal blue, silk-like concoction with the long flowing sleeves. Again, Solon always enjoying the kimono look, that sort of refined but also modernized 24th century version, just fits them so well. Their slender form. The person that's wearing it, however, has every feature of Solon's except for the face of Q, who's staring at you, looking at this data pad going, oh, Shakespeare. Never understood what humans saw in this one. So many other great playwrights in the universe.
I'm told most of Shakespeare's better than the original Klingon.
I've heard that too.
What? You don't know?
No, I don't spend my time reading. I spend most of my time managing the universe. Lesser life form stuff I leave to you. You can give me a summary and have it on my desk by tomorrow if you like.
Yes. I definitely do think of managerial roles as the higher orders. I'm aware of the irony. Zip.
Would you like to see something?
Absolutely.
You are standing on the surface of an asteroid. You don't recognize where you are. Q is standing next to you in a red Starfleet uniform. Before you, Sol, you see this surface of the asteroid seems to span out in front of you. It is not small. You're looking at a horizon. The asteroid probably maybe 15 or 16 kilometers in diameter. So quite large where you're standing right now. A small planetoid, really. This asteroid is giving you a hell of a view. But what's remarkable is in front of you, lining the top of this asteroid, you see multiple little green life forms surviving in the 0G of space. There's about 70 or 80 of them, and they're all locked onto a rock. They're glowing with this bioluminescence, this greenish glow that's pulsing in the dark of space. And Q says, "Look familiar? You ejected one of these creatures from your warp core just after you left their space dock some time ago. They're multiplying here on an asteroid after they find nutrients in the rock face. Isn't that extraordinary?"
It is. My goodness.
It's amazing what can happen
I
when you
look
act
to the stars,
responsibly.
see if I can recognize a constellation, maybe.
Looking
Like, right
around,
there where I am.
so you don't recognize anything off the top of your head as you're glancing around at the stars, but you get the impression this is probably the area in which you beamed Dill onto an asteroid before departing.
Oh, that's terrific. Oh,
So
this is
you're in the Alpha Quadrant somewhere right now.
You know, I appreciate the follow-up. I bet you're great on dates. Goodness.
Time to get real with you.
Oh, good. I was worried.
I've always wanted to tell you, Captain Azarisal, that I've appreciated the effort you put into trying to act not impressed. It takes a lot of the pressure off of me as a Q. There are so many performative aspects that go into dealing with lesser life forms, but I'm one of the few Q that actually believe that humanity, the Federation, Orions, all of you creatures that are flying about the galaxy looking at things are actually quite necessary and delightful.
And we're so happy here on the USS Ross to deal with lesser life forms ourselves. Thank you so much for visiting repeatedly, despite your lack of empathy with other creatures in the galaxy.
There's no need to thank me.
Oh,
But since we are on the subject of me,
yeah.
it is worth bringing up that we are coming to an end to our association. And I thought I might give you a bit of a report on how well you did. Oh, it's not optional, but you can offer your opinion all the same if you like.
Oh no, I was just trying to game it out in my own head first. You know, you do the self-evaluation, you compare it, and you see. Go on. You were evaluating. Please.
He moves over and almost causes as he jumps up on the rock that these creatures are on, barely missing some of them, threatening to crush a few of them under his foot, as he pivots around like a dancer and comes to a stop standing on top, agilely avoiding all of them, and just says, "These creatures come from the mycelial network, the very thing that you discovered recently. You've set them loose here in the galaxy. Interesting decision. But more importantly, you've helped the Continuum discover where it was that EXEO's technology originated from. We couldn't see it. We're not used to that. See, the multiverse is complicated, and the Continuum, well, we're infinite, but the truth of the matter is infinity has this strange way of, well, being infinite. And when you're trying to manage an entire universe, sometimes the Continuum needs to look in a multitude of directions. As a result, sometimes every now and then, every few 150 billion years or so, something gets past us. I mean, if we could have stopped it, the Big Bang would have not happened this time around, believe me. But since we're here, I can go ahead and tell you that you're back on track. The delay that was caused by the sabotage brought to the USS Ross was intended to deliberately put you off the trail. You see, your friends in the time shenanigans department, or whatever it is you Federation like to call your temporal departments, they were trying to understand who was trying to stop the Ross from reaching the Shackleton Expanse, but not completely. In fact, it was a delaying action to keep the Ross from reaching the Shackleton Expanse at the appointed time. And this tied in with a multitude of things. Someone was trying to stop the Ross from being there when the crystalline entity was born. Someone was trying to stop the Ross from intervening in the Romulan civil war that was starting to brew, that could have broken out. Someone was trying to stop the Ross from uncovering the plots in the Shackleton Expanse. But now you've done all of this. You've managed to do it, and in the time frame that originally history recorded you doing it in. So things are back to normal again. And there's no indication that time shenanigans will be happening once more. Perhaps you have someone to thank for that? Who knows? Just a few loose ends, though. EXEO. What are we going to do about your commander? You see, she's made from technology that technically doesn't belong here at this time. It might require some intervention.
I really want to see how long you're going to continue that face.
I'm infinite, Captain. You'd be dust by the time I was tired of it.
Worth it. You don't have an attention span that long. Don't be ridiculous. Anyway,
No, you got me there.
are you planning on intervening, or are you just going to make high-pitched noises about it?
I had planned on making high-pitched noises about it, then seeing how you intervened with it. You see, the Continuum wants me to dust EXEO and reverse the timeline altogether. It'll be like none of you ever met, and the woman that created EXEO will be dealt with in due time. But here's my pitch. I don't think that's the way to go about this. You see, the entire process of trying to write things, well, all of that good hard work put in by both you and your lower life forms and me would all be going to waste. And besides, the timeline's been righted and things are moving forward, and there's so many other universes out there. I mean, let this one have its fun, for God's sake, right? Well, that's what I've managed to convince the Continuum thus far. And they've agreed on one condition. When the time comes, you are going to have to confront Redgrave. She's more than what she seems, and she's not playing by the rules. And bringing EXEO into existence breaks the rules. And while we're willing to look the other way for now, the truth of the matter is history is about to catch up with the Federation, and some of the decisions it's made about artificial life is going to come to light. EXEO could play a role that could change the course of the way we know things, the way we've known things to happen. There are things that are supposed to happen in the next 10 to 15 years in the Federation, Captain, that might turn out quite differently now because of the existence of Commander EXEO. And this may not necessarily be a bad thing. I mean, things can get quite exciting when you don't know what happens next. I can tell you as somebody who sees time all at once, it's a relief. But it might require some sacrifice on your part. There might be a dark day for you on the horizon. And I'm here to ensure that you understand what's at stake when you have to make a decision, Captain. More than just EXEO's life might be at stake. It could be your existence. But don't you have a Bajorn festival to get to? What are we doing here on this asteroid? Am I right? He hops down off the rock and strides up to you and says, I like you, Captain, and this has been fun. And I look forward to seeing you one last time. And for what it's worth, all goofiness aside, I'm sorry that I have to give you this news.
Thank you. And I do appreciate your help. You're very useful, and
A directive from the Continuum. Sometimes we have to make ourselves useful.
don't have to tell me that, and I just touch the pips. Hierarchies, right?
Enjoy your festival, Captain. You're sitting in 10 forward. Solon brings you your drink and sets it down. Are you all right, Cap?
Nice kimono.
Thank you. And moves away, leaving you to yourself for a moment.
All right.
We will be back in 10 minutes. Go grab a drink, use the restroom. We'll see you in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, to Clear Skies. Before we jump back into the break, I just wanted to break some news that just came out over Twitter. If y'all haven't heard, it happened about 45 minutes ago. But General Chuck Yeager, the first person to ever break the sound barrier, has passed away. And we just wanted to take a moment and acknowledge that in the contributions that General Yeager made to aviation. It's important, of course, to science and to like the history of exploration and taking risks and doing some crazy shit in the name of humanity. Passed away, lived well into his 90s. So we just wanted to go ahead and just take a moment and acknowledge that and acknowledge his contribution to exploration and having the guts to do some pretty wild shit in order to advance human aviation. So Chuck Yeager has passed away. So thank you, sir, for everything. 97 years old. I hope I live that long. Goodness. That being said, I also wanted to invite Ox Crew, who's watching the episode tonight, to stick around. We're going to be wrapping up a little bit earlier tonight, around 9:30. We have received a letter from Ox Crew, and we want to take some time at the end of the episode to read it and acknowledge it. Usually in the old days at Geek and Sundry, we would all be gathered around and popping open presents and chatting with y'all about this time of year. So because of the way things are working now, we're doing it a little bit differently, but we're not breaking the tradition. So we invite you guys to stick around and hang out and chill with us for the last 30 minutes of the episode as we wrap up a little early tonight. That being said, let's go ahead and jump back in to tonight's finale of Clear Skies. Finale just until next year. We're not ending. I'm just saying. Anybody in chat freaking out? Because sometimes you say that stuff and they're like, wait, what? And you're like, no, we're good. So, where would we like to start off? Because we have a lot of things in the air, and as we're coming back, oh, you know what? I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna fade into, after our commercial break, Clear Skies comes back with the USS Ross arriving at Narendra Station. Coming out of warp, Starbase is right ahead of you. You see Vryn acknowledging that Starbase has locked on and acknowledged the signal. And as you are approaching Starbase 364, Captain, you can see that there are 2 Klingon cruisers currently docked at the station. One of them is a Cavort class, and one of them is a Vorcha class Klingon warship. And as you approach the station, about the same time you see it is when you get it on sensors, LAKAT. There is a Nekvar class warship on the other side of the station. The Nekvar class is one of the latest classes of starships of the Klingon Empire, and it is the ship of the Klingon High Chancellor. Nekvar is a huge ship. This is the biggest ship in the Klingon military. It is a floating fortress of firepower. It saw a lot of action in the Klingons' Dominion War, and it is currently in the middle of being produced at a regular rate. So this one, it's rare to see them, but they are slowly replacing the Vorcha. This is the Klingons' answer to like the Galaxy-class scaled vessels.
What's the look on Ren's face right now?
What's that?
What's the look on Ren's face when he sees that?
Yeah. So Vryn just mutters the word Nekvar. And he's looking at this just awestruck. And as you look over at him, Vryn starts whispering everything he knows about it. And just starts talking about its hull plating, its the things that it has accomplished, essentially like goes into some of the details, points out that it draws so much power, and notices that you're looking at him and just says, oh, am I being weird right now?
Not at all. That's a huge ship.
Yeah, that ship is an assault class. That is amazing. That's the IKS Nekvar. That is an amazing vessel.
Good thing the war's over, huh?
Yeah, that's the ship that attacked DS9. among
Yeah.
among other things.
Jane's just looking at this thing. It's like kind of like intimidating, and she's kind of into it. But
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the flagship of the Klingon fleet, essentially.
Yeah.
It is quite large. I would say it's comparable in scale to the Ross. And Captain, you can see it clearly as well up on the screen as you're approaching. And
Yeah.
it definitely signals that the Chancellor of the Klingon Empire is here.
I think the moment OLYN sees that ship, they look over at the captain and they go, I think we should have that talk.
All right.
20 minutes till docking, Captain. Vryn gives you the heads up as you move into your ready room.
Keep an eye on her for me.
Hi, Captain.
I look at Crawl like, that won't be hard, will it?
Yeah, he's just staring at it like, oh my god, this ship is amazing. This is amazing. All right.
And, sure, yeah.
The two of you enter your ready room.
Can I get you something to drink? What can I do for you?
Earl Grey hot will work just fine, thank you.
Yeah. I do that, I'll do the same. Sure, why not?
Okay.
Do you recall the conversation we had on the holodeck?
Yes.
I know that things took us away from your original intent to uncover what was going on. And as you can see from what we were told by Vice Admiral, it looks to have been taken care of.
Yes.
It was Sorix. And I helped him.
What exactly did you do?
Well, on his own merit, he figured out something was up. He'd had the opportunity to speak with Ambassador Pagino, and Ambassador Pagino raised some red flags for him, so he started looking into things. And that is how he discovered that there was issues with General Kargan and Ambassador Jal and all of the other stuff that we were more or less told about.
Right, he works in intelligence. He didn't stop working in intelligence, just differently, I suppose. But again, you.
He called me into a private meeting on the sorry, my brain's farting. In the shipping bay of the station, and essentially told me that he was taking your job from you. And I offered him what information I had, told him what was being asked of you, and he decided to take it on himself. After which he supplied me with sensitive information regarding General Kargan that I then forwarded to Starfleet Intelligence.
Well done. You don't seem happy.
I wasn't sure at the time that I'd done the right thing. To be honest, I didn't know what I was supposed to do at all, if anything. But I figured at the very least Starfleet Intelligence should know what was going on, even if there wasn't anything they could or should do about it.
Quite correct. And yet, still don't seem happy.
As a general rule, I understand that there are plenty of things that are well within my purview to do without your permission or with your knowing, as long as it doesn't endanger the people on this ship. But I had to weigh whether or not this did. Because it involved Sela, and for a time Sela was here in the Shackleton Expanse, it could very well have been something that we were supposed to know about, or at least you. But there was also the part of me, while I was dealing with all of this, that was going, it's not Sol's business anymore, and they don't need to know about it. At least in terms of an intelligence point of view.
Were you trying to protect me, Olyn?
I was.
Any actionable intelligence that the Ross needs to know at this point? Other than what's come through on the official reports?
As far as I know, Sela is no longer in the Shackleton Expanse, which means that for now she's out of our hair. Everything that happened with the IK-Sporg, who I think more or less is not really under our jurisdiction, so we don't need to worry about that.
Thank you.
That being said, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea for us to make friends with the crew in a more substantial way than we've really had the opportunity to.
If we ever see them again, if the rest of the crew go the way of their captain, I doubt we'll see hide or hair of them.
The cloaking device does make it a little bit more difficult, doesn't it?
Yes. Cloaking device.
I don't think there's anything in particular that we needed to do about this, which I guess is the other reason why I felt more okay with sending it off without really telling you about it than making you aware. But at the same time, it didn't sit right with me, and I didn't know how you would react to it, and not really in my nature to keep you out of the loop on things if I don't have to.
And you thought you had to protect me.
Olyn just sips their tea.
Zelda's the same. Well, you're a diplomat. Some of the things you do have nothing to do with me, even if they are in our same region of space. I am not part of the diplomacy corps. Am I going to be a nosy former intelligence officer who wants to know everything that's going on in the Shackleton Expanse? Yes, you know the answer to that question perfectly well. But at the end of the day, you serve a semi-independent office within this ship and have your own affairs and your own judgment. Take whatever it is you felt from this and let it guide your judgment moving forward. Nothing went wrong. So...
Except for General Cargan. Lots of things went wrong with him.
And they won't be anymore, will they?
Indeed they won't.
Captain Vermeer.
Shame we didn't get the chance to meet her at all.
Space is big, but sometimes it's very small. Is there anything else, Ambassador?
I just wanted to make sure you knew what was going on before we went on the station.
Appreciate it. We're all right.
Of course. We don't get many conversations like this, Captain.
Well, You rarely go behind my back doing intelligence work and not even include me.
I can't say that it's something I would like to make a habit of.
So they're trying to talk me into Theseus.
Typecasting.
And yeah, that's, I think, the sort of sotto voce conversation as we go back onto the bridge.
When you enter onto the bridge again, Vren is in the middle of just inundating LAKAT with statistics about the IKS Negvar. And you're actually learning a thing or two.
Yeah, LAKAT's loving it. Like, I think that, like, this is what Ren loves, and I think that she's like, yeah, I'm gonna let you, like, indulge in this because, like, you listen to my science stuff when I talk about a leaf for 3 hours.
Here's what you learn.
Yeah.
LAKAT. The IKS Negvar is scale 6. It is the size of the USS Ross.
Oh, boy.
It has 20 ship-mounted disruptor cannons. It has 1 large forward disruptor cannon, and it has, count them, 4 torpedo launchers. This vessel, as Vren is talking to you about it, he is emphasizing that the Negvar is an absurdity in warfare. It's they probably built it with the Romulans and the Dominions in mind, and the Dominion in mind. It's a giant battering ram in space. And you come out as you're hearing Vren just like, he's not speaking about this ship like he would a fine-tuned machine that he admires. He's more of just like, he's almost got a twinge of what the hell were they think? Like that is the most Klingon of Klingon vessels that has ever Klingoned in the skies.
How many warp cores does it have?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's only got one, huh?
It's only got one.
Only got one.
Only got 1 warp core.
4 freaking torpedoes, though, huh? 4 torpedoes. That's
4 torp launchers. That's
the few happens at the same time for both of us.
yeah, the two of you like,
Whew.
lots of bang bang on that ship.
Yeah, pew pew.
Yes.
Wow.
You all, Vren stiffens suddenly and says, "Oh, Captain, we are receiving orders. Initiating tractor beam. We're getting into docking procedures now with an interstation. Activating maneuvering thrusters."
Excellent.
You can also see in space, it's a crowded day at Narendra Station. You can see still in space dock and undergoing repairs is the USS Thunderchild. And that's coming along. It looks like a lot of work crews have gone to work repairing and replacing that nacelle. But her hull looks fine now. Ship shape. But the nacelle still needs a lot of work, it looks like. So they're in the midst of repairing that.
I'll go over to EXEO very quickly, put the ring on the armrest. I'll see you around the station. I'm just going to go and swing by medbay. So very quickly, before we disembark.
Yes, Captain.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We cut to medbay.
Okay, cool. Let's just go right there.
Why is everyone coming to medbay? No one is sick. I do not understand.
Someone once said always go to medbay, so we go
Yeah,
to
we always say go see the doctor. Go see the doctor.
doctor.
Now everyone's going to counseling and the doctor. It's nice.
The doors of the medbay open, and as you enter, you see crew members of the Ross that are currently going about their duties here in the medbay, but they stand at attention as the captain enters the medbay.
As you were. Doctor, do you have a moment?
I do. Always for you, Captain.
Pull her away from staff just a little bit.
Okay.
Are you planning on getting arrested on this one too?
No, Captain. That was an unfortunate incident that will not happen again.
We've served together for a few months now.
Yes.
I've been very patient. Dr. McCrell, what's in the tea?
So blunt!
McCrell stares at you.
It is an old recipe, Captain, with dye-repelli leaves and a special mix that my father passed down to me. An old family tradition. It is an acquired taste and would probably give you a headache.
Do you know how many beverages humanoids consume that do that sort of thing?
Yes, but most of those I cannot have. Cations, unfortunately, are allergic to alcohol.
It's not so unfortunate if you see some of the decisions humans make on it.
Yes, I usually have to take care of them after.
Is it purely sentimental value, or does it have some kind of pharmacological effect? If you're going to commit crimes over it, I need to know more about it.
But, Captain, I did not commit a crime. I was not arrested.
I will back you to the station about that at any point if necessary, but I need to know.
Yes, Captain, but again, I was not arrested. They told me to leave, and I did. I did not go back into the store.
Evading.
Pardon?
You're evading. I want to know.
Captain.
And I'm captain.
They're pulling the pips.
Yes, I see your pips are glowing. The tea is special to me, Captain, and necessary.
Understood. If you get arrested, comms me directly this time. Have a good one. I'll see you on the station.
I will not get arrested, Captain, but thank you.
When Saul leaves, there's a finality to it, but is there an air of irritation as well?
Huh.
Not irritation, but I detect Saul. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
But I detect a hidden warning in Saul's departure.
Hidden?
Okay,
There was nothing
fine.
hidden about that.
You're
Come
not
on
gonna
now.
no, you're not going to tell me. Okay, it's your ass if something happens. And if you're doing something on the ship that's going to get that's a problem, and you're not telling me when I've given you the opportunity to tell me, it's your ass. Is kind of what I get from Saul as they walk out of the med bay.
I told them it is.
You don't have to
special
explain it to GM.
necessary.
You don't have to explain it to me. I'm just
Look,
interpreting
Eric,
Saul.
what do you want from me? GM.
GM is not on anybody's side. I'm watching this from afar. I'm Q here, and that is the hint that McCrell gets from Saul as they leave the med bay.
I have a lot of different social foci. Some of them are persuasion, some of them are intimidation. Which is at play in a given scene is the purview of the interpreter. Death of the author and all that.
Were you going to roll on that to see if? Are you going to try?
We want to both take an opposed roll and just
Do
sort
it.
of see what we've
I'm
got.
going to call for an opposed roll.
For it.
Let's do it.
This just seems
I'm
like
going
a
to call for
fun
an opposed
design.
roll.
And also, I just don't get to use determination that often. I'm a social. Let's go, kiddos.
And I don't get to use I don't get to use threat.
I don't like this at all.
I haven't sent a single point of threat this entire game.
Oh, damn it. Okay, I would also I will burn a value too. Because what could be the worst thing that could happen? I flub the play. Okay.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
so I'm studying there's always something beneath the surface, and I think that's
Okay.
kind of straightforward here. Am I rolling on the insight side or the presence side?
You're rolling on insight, and McCrell is rolling on presence.
Then I don't have
no,
green die.
really?
Yeah, really.
Presence
trying
what?
to
Are you,
pull-
you sure I'm not trying to control my
It's
emotions?
better for you. Like, if I'd been rolling on presence, I'd have added an extra die and we'd all be in trouble.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm rolling presence, which is bad for me. Presence in what?
We do have plenty of momentum for extra die if needed.
Oh, I'm taking one. Presence and security? Because I'm trying to secure my brain?
No, this is presence command.
You've got to be kidding. That's
Nope.
an 8 for me, total.
Okay, good luck.
I will take a momentum.
You're trying to lie to the captain and a
I'm not
former
lying.
intel officer.
Oh, wait. I would like to be perfectly clear that nothing I said was a lie. I did not get arrested. The medicine is made with direpelli leaves. It is a mix that my father passed down to me. It is necessary and also special to me.
Okay.
And none
but
of that was a
Bonnie-
lie.
But Bonnie,
Yes.
are you telling the captain the whole truth right now?
There is nothing more to say. I would like to
No.
burn value.
So you're trying to deceive the captain, and so you're going to roll presence and command.
And I would like to.
A lie by omission is still a lie.
Great.
So
I would like to use the value. Let me know if this works. Control the fire. Don't feed the flames. So I'm trying to not.
that
is a value.
Poetically, that applies here.
I'm using it,
Oh, that's
Yep.
great.
and that is happening.
I am spending 4 threat to jump publication
crit.
range.
And I took momentum. Okay. So I got 4 successes, which is not bad considering
No,
my
that's
total was
a really
8.
good roll, yeah.
Only 16s or higher.
No, I rolled a 13 and a 9.
Is that with you adding your determination?
Yeah, so I rolled 2 successes with my determination, and then I had a natural crit and a 9 and a 13.
4 successes.
And I have a feeling the captain beat me because that smug face on.
I
Sam's
mean,
face.
yeah, there's only so long I
Right.
can hold a poker face. I got 7. I'm sorry. I have a 3, a 4, a 13. And the
Oh
determination.
my god.
Okay, so what does
So
that
we're
mean?
full up on momentum again, is the point here.
So what do I do? Do I throw my tea in your face? What happens? What's going on?
Oh, and I have studious. Wow, geez, I can ask lots of questions.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. All right.
I'm
I
looking
didn't
at my
throw my
talent.
weight
So-
around that
so-
hard.
As we
I
go
have-
into this,
I have cat-like reflexes and I run away. Just kidding.
as we go into this,
Ugh.
I just this is one of those rare moments where technically this is PvP, and it's a rare moment where we are approaching character narrative and backstory that Bonnie, as a player, may or may not be willing or ready to reveal as part of her character story. And Sam, just for the audience information, though, we all totally down for that. Like, respecting that boundary is all part of the game experience, not a problem. However, there's also the side of this where Sam's character, Azri Sul, has a nose for discovering shit that they don't, that people are trying to hide from them. So we're going to play a balancing act here, because right now, Sul has detected that McCrell is deliberately being evasive, is not telling them the truth, and is hiding something that, by not telling the truth specifically, it relates to the legality of what they are doing. McCrell is hiding something from Sul that has greater implications, and is doing so in a way that to you, Sul, it reads as you are essentially on the absolute right track in your suspicions.
My cat is very upset about this, by the way. In case you couldn't hear him in the background. He is very distraught. I feel like we should cut the scene and move on, for Yappa's sake.
So here's the question. Since we decided to do that roll,
Okay.
I'm down for saying the scene has not ended yet, and that Sul has insight checked you, and the two of you are staring at each other for the moment. Or we can say that is Sul reading back over the situation as it just occurred as they have left the sickbay, and has taken that read with them.
I think I'll take it with me. I do. So here's my pitch. I would like to ask 1 or 2 studious questions with sort of like option on maybe a peremptory strike on one?
I mean, it's what would you do?
Too hard, Bonnie?
No, like, are you gonna ask me, like, as a player, a question that you want information about? Like, or like as McCrell or as me with information?
Yeah. I'm considering the scene as played. Because, but when McCrell says that it's necessary, in what sense of necessary do I get that vibe? Like medically necessary or psychologically necessary? Like
I see what you're saying.
What's the vibe I get under that word in particular? Because that pinged them pretty hard.
You sense that it's something that personally inhibits something inside her that she needs to control. If that makes sense. Yeah.
So maybe kind of a combo of both.
Yeah, both. Like, it does something to her physically as well psychologically. Sorry, our cat is very excited that we're talking.
Understandable. I'm also very excited when I get to talk to you. We don't get to do nearly often enough. And just give me an overall emotional vibe check of this scene. Like, actually someone, like, usually people are more polite about this, or McCrell is more evasive. Actually being pinned and confronted with the notion of talking about it. What is McCrell's emotional reaction? Anxiety, anger, like, what's going on there?
You feel that she is still calm in a sense, but you feel like a small feeling of maybe fear, but not fear that she's like scared of you or scared of like this scenario, but more fearful as if you would take it away from her, what that would mean for her well-being. Like if you discovered something that allowed her not to drink it anymore, what that would entail in the end. So a little bit of fear and anxiety, but at the same time, calm, which could also help.
Cool. So that is Sol's read reflecting on the conversation as they make their way down to transporter.
Great. Okay. I'm going to go back to reading my script.
All right. Beaming over. Who is beaming over to Narendra Station? All right, so the command staff and OLYN. So you all walk in, Chief Singh nods to all of you. You all take up onto the transporter pad. Moments later, you materialize on Narendra Station. For a station that was in lockdown about 2 days ago, it's looking quite normal here, except for there is a large contingent of Klingons, larger than normal. And a lot of them are wearing the badge of the House of Martok on bandoliers as they're walking around. As you all have materialized on the pad, the first thing that happens is you notice that Ambassador Jal is standing there waiting for all of your arrival. And when you arrive, he throws his arms open and goes, "OLYN! OLYN, OLYN, OLYN." And he moves over and immediately throws his arms around you in a mildly painful, tight hug, and then pulls you back and shakes you a little bit and says, "Captain Saul, yes, I heard that you were still the captain of that big ship of yours. Good to see you again."
Yes, my EXEO hasn't managed to oust me in combat just yet.
Well, you should get on that. You have the tactical advantage.
There you go.
Superior strength.
Oust me already. What have you been doing here, EXEO?
Well, I'm more agile, Captain, but you are much taller than I am.
So as long as I have the reach on you, I retain the command.
Unfortunately.
Don't let me keep you here on the transporter pad. Come.
You seem to be in high spirits, Ambassador Jal.
Oh, yes. I don't know if you heard, but there's a certain bastard who was killed recently. Oh, I'll never have to smell him again. New things to smell. This way. Intrigue abounds, they say. He brings his girth through the front doors of the transporter station's door. As it slides open, he steps out and says, "As you can see, we're quite the place now. looking around, you can see we have the Chancellor visiting us today. Although he'll be leaving soon, our new general has arrived, and he is quite the character. I'm looking forward to introducing you to him. They're in Admiral April Hebert's quarters now, who sent me to greet you. Follow me. As you're walking through the station, you see one of the things that's probably delighting Ambassador Jal is that he is getting the respect of an ambassador of the House of Martok. Since he is a nobility in the House of Martok, you see all lining the walls here it's filled with the House of Martok. All of these people that are here are acknowledging his station, something that doesn't necessarily happen with all of the other members of the Klingon houses. You all arrive, and as you are led into Admiral April Hebert's quarters, into the office, it goes, shh, you see it open up. As you all enter the room, he throws open his arms and says, they're here. Time to fill you in. This, everyone, is Captain Azri Sol. This is the famous Commander EXEO, and of course, my good friend, the Ambassador OLYN MADZHIN-NIL of Delta. Allow me to introduce you to, and he swings his hands open, and the first person he swings his hand open to, you see a very stern, very handsome, but very serious-looking Klingon with a bandolier over him, and says, this is Worf of the House of Martok, and this here is Kolar, your new general, who is going to be heading the new station staff. And of course, my honor to present to you Chancellor Martok, the crew of the USS Ross.
It's an honor.
It is good to meet you. Worf just nods to you.
Owen is much more calm and collected than I am right now. I'm just going to say that.
The Klingon standing next to the ambassador, who is the general, is about to speak when General Martok steps forward and says, Captain Azri Sol. It's good to meet you. And he sticks his hands out. The general is every bit as much of a legendary figure as you've seen. Of course, known for his time in the Dominion War, being one of the most charismatic Klingons to ever take the seat of Chancellor. He has been a visionary, and even though he's been a bit divisive for the more traditional elements of the Klingon Empire because of his overtures for peace, he has given the warrior caste a lot to be happy about. You, of course, see that signature wound on the side of his face that he bears proudly from the Dominion War. And when he steps forward and presents his hand to you, he greets you the way a Federation member might be greeted, with a stern handshake. It says, I heard they were letting Orions be captains now. It's about time.
This one. They'll sneak more of us in soon. We're conniving little bastards.
You certainly have a way of speaking forwardly, Captain. And you, Commander EXEO. And he leans forward with his good eye and stares at you for a moment and says, Well, I wouldn't be able to tell if you were a hologram either way, but it's a pleasure to meet you. And he extends his hand.
I suppose that's a good thing.
Suppose correctly, then. May I introduce to you your new General Station Commander? As the middle Klingon steps forward, he could be described as a mountain of a Klingon, standing at a good 6 feet 6 inches tall. He is built like...
Interesting choice of words, Eric.
Tank. He is built like a tank, and has a lot of the decorations to show that he is clearly someone who has done quite well for himself in the Klingon Defense Force. As he steps forward, you see this thick mane of wavy hair that cascades down the side of his face and this great beard in front of him. He has a very powerful looking like ridge that just goes up into the back of that hairy mane. And he looks down at you, Captain, and says, Captain Sol, Kolar, General.
General, It's an honor to meet you. I look forward to working with you.
And you. And Commander EXEO. And Ambassador OLYN MADZHIN-NIL. Are you stationed here on Narendra?
I'm actually stationed aboard the USS Ross. When we are stationed here for whatever repairs we need, you will find me in the embassy.
Very well. If there is nothing more for this ceremony, I would like to see my new station. Duty, duty, duty. And Martok pats him on the shoulder and says, "Come, let us leave this room to the Starfleet officers to discuss things that do not interest us." Worf pauses again and says, "It was nice to meet you." And the three of them beeline out of the room without further ceremony. As they leave, you see sitting there this whole time is Vice Admiral Aber, flanked by Syvek, and she just has this look on her face like, when they leave, she watches them leave, and he just moves out the door closes, and Aber looks at you and says, "I swear, Worf is the only Klingon I have ever met that knows you can use your inside voice when you're in an office."
He's absolutely magnificent.
Syvek quirks an eyebrow, and the Admiral looks at you. Make sure to put that in your logs, Ambassador. That's going to be our new general. I'm afraid I dragged you all the way back out to Narendra Station for a 5-minute meeting, Captain. Not much for ceremony.
What's the measure of the man?
All I know about General Kolar is that he is something of a war hero from the Dominion War. The Klingons certainly racked up their share of them during the Dominion War. But Kolar himself fought alongside Federation forces and even rescued one of the science teams that was cornered by some of the Dominion invaders on one of our worlds. He was part of the liberation of Beta Z as well.
Such a decorated war hero. Might be why it seemed like he wasn't terribly happy to be placed out here.
I had that concern too, but the Chancellor tells me that shouldn't be a worry. I've never heard of Kolar before, but the General apparently was handpicked by Worf. And there's no one that the Chancellor trusts more. So, Worf's experience in the Federation makes him ideal, and I was kind of hoping he would be our pick, but something tells me Worf is probably getting his kicks among his own people for once.
He certainly deserves it, and it sounds like this Kolar fellow has a lot of history as a liaison with the Federation as well.
Sounds like it.
Hopefully you'll work well together.
How are you all doing since you're here? Please take a seat. Let's catch up for a moment.
Yes.
You all came out here. What's new with you? And when she says that, Syvek says, "Cap, come here." Syvek turns to the Admiral and says, "Admiral, if the conversation has moved into irrelevancy, I would like permission to be dismissed. Get out of here." So, what's new on the Ross, Captain? How was your trip? Syvek leaves the room.
I look to OLYN just very quickly, cognizant of newsworthy items that have happened here, and turn back to the Admiral. So the Ross is putting on a play.
A play?
Yes.
Really? What play?
A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Shakespeare! Well, that's one of his most popular.
We're a cultured ship, what can I say? I believe we're short of Hippolyta, but it's coming along very nicely. May I make a presence convince roll? I want to do it.
You look at her narrowing eyes. Yes, make a presence convince. Make a command presence check. Okay.
I'm spending a momentum. I want an admiral in our play for funsies.
Okay.
And that one. And that one. That's 4 from me.
She got 4.
Tiger's active. Hey.
She looks at you for a moment and says, "You're asking me to be in the play?"
It would be an honor to our ship.
It's accompanied by a delightful harvest festival.
That's right. It's that time of year, isn't it? Oh, it's so many calendars to keep track of when you're the head of a station.
Such is Federation life.
Quite a few of us are going out for parts.
I'll do it on one condition, Captain.
Yes, Admiral.
Well, 2 conditions. Has to be a small part. I don't have time to learn lines at the moment. And I'll come up with the second one later.
Yes, sir. I'll get you your sides in an hour.
All right. Anything else?
That's the biggest of the business aboard the USS Ross right now. I mean, we'd rather heard treachery and intrigue about over here. I confess we were relying on you for our news. Oh, Q visited us, but, you know, these things happen.
A member of the Continuum visited the Ross?
Yeah, yes. He does that from time to time. Says it won't be happening very much more, though, so that's relief.
Have you... I'm sorry. A member of the Continuum has been visiting you? Have you reported this to Starfleet Command?
In my regular reports and briefings, but...
Have they said anything? Why am I only just now hearing about this? I want a full report from you. That's my second condition. I want to know everything, every conversation you've had.
Done.
Boy, you don't lead with the big stuff, do you, Saul?
Well, I rather thought that was me entering any room.
She leans back and just says, a member of the Continuum took interest in the USS Ross. That has not happened since Deep Space Nine had contact with, well, Q.
Voyager had a few visits, I heard. I should ask...
We don't talk about that. Well then.
Sure.
All right.
I think both OLYN and EXEO, just given your passive insights, will notice me cut my eyes to EXEO at least once or twice over the course of this conversation, just subconsciously.
Okay. Yeah, she sees...
Because I don't know that much about these meetings other than they sometimes happen, correct?
And this is literally the first time OLYN is hearing about it, so hey.
Yeah. Voyager did mention a few moments of contact, one in particular about a Q who wanted to commit suicide. A disturbing report, and one unique to the Continuum that they're a difficult topic to discuss. I'm pleased that the Ross and that you, Captain, are doing all right. Has this Q taken a particular interest in you?
Not as such, I don't think. I'm hardly the most interesting person on the ship.
What? I'm sorry, I have to press you on this. What was the nature of the Q's visit?
in fact, to take me to the showboat. An asteroid showed us the creature that was once in our warp core. Apparently it's multiplying.
Also the first EXEO and OLYN of hearing of this. This news setting in. Uh-huh. I'm just going to have to read your report, I think. I'll debrief you about this at another time.
Absolutely.
What is the slightly deeper dig on emotion from Sol happening here?
Well, kind of around the room. You're getting amazement, like the Admiral is flabbergasted, just completely and dumbfounded, because the Continuum only takes interest in captains that are playing a huge role in the direction of the Federation, is what people have discovered. That points of destiny across the map in history is where Q appears. And so this has kind of shifted how she sees Sol. And you can sense that, OLYN. She's gazing at Sol and the two of you right now with just, oh my God, like wide eyes. And it's a little overwhelming to her. I don't know what Sol is feeling or what EXEO is feeling right now. I'll let them tell you.
EXEO is being a very dutiful commander and is not showing anything on their face. They have the air that they are listening to this not for the first time, because of how shocked the Admiral is at this news. And so you see a just pleasant, quiet smirk on EXEO's face, but you would feel a spike when Sol says that they are not the most interesting person on the ship, and where Q took them. You feel a spike of extreme concern.
Okay.
I love it.
All right, EXEO is a concern. It's not an alien we've had the chance to come across yet, but anyways,
I see you.
Thank you. I was hoping somebody would.
Of course, buddy. So Sol, I think what would be noticeable to OLYN, especially after all of these months of working together, is that you can get more and less from them. It's never a lot, but I think you'd notice just how hard they're clamping down on their Cluris, like keeping themselves together and doing that very Orion thing of never being like completely together and controlled about everything, no matter how the little.
Basically, the complete opposite of the last time something like this happened.
Yeah, I mean, but they feel the need to really have their persona on and to correctly project all of the emotions that they intend in the right way. From this, I think OLYN could deduce that there's something missing here.
Like, I'm not being inundated with feels I can't do anything about, something's up. Okay, cool.
Right, the very absence of like, why is Sol trying so hard? To just like be so carefree about this and be so selective. There, plenty of nibbles for y'all.
Abear cuts into this and just says, all right, you just got here and I don't want to grill you anymore. I'm really interested in that read, but if I'm going to be in a play, I need to start learning my parts. So go do your business, enjoy the little time off that you have, and I'm giving the Ross a 24-hour shore leave in order to do this festival of yours. And in the meantime, please don't agitate my first officer. And you get this, it occurs to you, Captain, that she's kind of lightheartedly poking.
And she has the bars and I don't, so
Yeah,
I smile and say, yes, sir.
It's the brass. She is doing a friendly poke. Like it is the gentlest of reprimands.
Yeah.
And that's all she says with a smile on her face. And then she just says, all right, get out of here. Go enjoy yourselves. I'll see you in a few hours. Welcome back to Narendra.
Thank you. Head on out.
All right, the three of you leave the office. Just in time, by the way, across the station way, you can see Worf and Martok nearing the transporter pad and having a conversation with General Kolar and his guard.
Can you spell Kolar for us?
Yes, it would be Qolar.
Thank you. Okay, good. I got it right in my notes. I just wanted to check.
I'm going to throw a shoe at you, Sam.
Do it. I deserve it. I'm a stinker.
I don't know that REVATI has the context here. We're going to have to explain it to her afterwards.
No context needed. What context? There's no context relevant here. Yeah, so we leave.
OLYN casts a very longing gaze towards towards Worf, and then asks the computer to tell them the location of the first officer of the Thunderchild.
The first officer of the Thunderchild is currently on board the USS Thunderchild.
Cool. Then I am going to go see about getting permission to visit the first officer aboard the Thunderchild.
Okay.
I don't need a scene or anything. I just want that's what OLYN's up to.
Just doing a check-in.
Yep.
Okay. If there's nothing else,
Are we doing this?
I stand very stiffly next to the captain, and when they move somewhere, I remain the same proximity, staring at them. So it would seem Dill is a problem? And there's an emphasis on Dill, obviously.
Well, it turns out Dill is from the mycelial network and was introduced here, which is not Dill's origin. And some might be concerned about whether or not Dill ought to be here, but I have no such doubts, and it was lovely to see Dill and their compatriots flourish.
And the conversation with Q? Did he have a recommendation of what to do with this misplaced creature?
Apparently, the continuum is a place of discord at times, but the Q I spent time with felt the same way I do.
wow, there are so many. This will be the. How many times have we rolled Insight Command this game?
I'm happy to go for it if you want to, either way.
That's up to Gina.
I will not, I am not coding my words. You can roll, but I am not contesting.
Well, this is mostly for EXEO to try to find out if the captain is not telling them everything.
I think EXEO can read Sol like a book, and Sol is not lying. Sol is just mindful of there being spies on the station. Like, they're talking in coded words for the sake of other ears, not for the commander. Anything you can pick up, you can pick up. Like, at this point,
yeah,
we just had a whole conversation in a meeting with another person. We got it.
We can absolutely say that that's what's taking place here. Yeah.
So you're credited with whatever you want. I will not contest anything unless I explicitly am like, I am doing a lie.
Sure, yeah, and likewise. Yeah, I was imagining that this was coded language for others.
Yeah, exactly.
And to make it clear to you or audience, replace the word dill with EXEO.
go.
Yes. that is
Obviously.
Absolutely the question.
Great. So it appears we have a queue possibly on our side to protect Dill.
The best place to have a queue, as far as I can tell. You certainly don't want them behind you. They'll
I confess I have not met
someone you know, and then they'll spook you. Sorry.
No, I just sort of was imagining you being spooked. Can't picture it, really.
Good.
Was there anything else that he said about the origins of Dill?
That at some point, Dill's origins might need to be confronted, dealt with.
And those that released Dill? What of their fate?
That's apparently to be determined. And choices will be made. And Dill will be protected at all costs. Because I would do anything for Dill. Very cute little life form.
Then I wish the little bugger good luck. Shall we get a drink, Captain?
Please.
So, some hours pass. People get settled in on the station. And we're going to go ahead and move the scenes forward to our Harvest Festival taking place on board the USS Ross on its famed deck that has become known as the Promenade Deck. Bajoran Harvest Festival, used with the holographic technology that can be found inside that promenade deck, has become a small slice of Bajor on the USS Ross, meaning you are seeing beautiful, like, simulations of sunbeams shining down on the holographic trees that are causing these dappled paths to form all across the promenade. It is a very beautiful, like, forest-like environment and perfect for a Midsummer Night's Dream. There is a small amphitheater that has sort of kind of been erected around one of the more open spots near the embassy. And what everyone learns upon arriving into the promenade deck, including the command staff, is that it looks like this is going to be as much of a stage reading performance as it actually is going to be a full play. When you arrive, EXEO, you see Vexilus spot you. The Saurian sees you and strides up to you quickly and just, Commander, we have an hour or so. Here is the datapad. Have you seen the ambassador?
Oh, I believe they have an appointment on Narendra. Why, do you need them?
Oh, yes, but this is okay for the moment. I just need to understand.
What are you?
Well, I haven't cast anybody yet.
Well, I'm assuming you're holding auditions.
Well, the play happens in 2 hours and 10 minutes. So
I can assure you most of the crew that I have seen have already been rehearsing for the parts that they wish to play.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, good. 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 That's very good. And it'll be a stage reading / performance.
They'll have the scripts in hand. It shouldn't be too troublesome.
Right. You're right, of course. I should. Yes, of course. You're right. I'm nerves. I heard Vexilus leans forward and the Saurian whispers to you, I heard that Admiral April Hebert is actually going to be in the play. The Vice Admiral is going to be in the play.
Yes, and you get to direct them. What a position of power. Relish in it.
Yes. I'll do that. Yes.
We are playing actors. We are not your command staff when we are on stage.
Yes. Of course. Strange dynamic, but you're absolutely right, and I will...
You're telling me, Ensign. And yet I chose to be in this play. I'm very excited. The whole crew is excited. The nerves on this ship have been palpable. And that usually comes from excitement.
You're right. Oh, Lieutenant Nadra Badim wanted to see you when you had a moment, as well as Ensign Alex Nazumi, if you have a moment.
Of course.
They're the ones organizing the entire event. Right this way. And Vexilus leads you over as everyone begins to slowly assemble on the promenade deck. It is a little chaotic as everyone is starting to assemble on the deck. Everyone's enjoying the live music, the food, the festivities. You're seeing Aux crew once again having a moment of enjoying themselves, but it's different than it was on Narendra Station. They're on the Ross right now, gathered on the promenade deck. This is not like seeing a homecoming. This is seeing everybody at home, enjoying themselves. Aux crew is milling about, reflecting over the past few months of journeys that the Ross has undergone. I mean, people join Starfleet because you never know what's going to happen when you fly out to deep space assignments. And you can hear a lot of the Aux crew talking to each other. This journey thus far has not disappointed. Topic of conversation comes up to the reappearance of the Tholians, the sight of a Romulan warbird that could fire while cloaked, and so on and so forth. These time travelers that were sabotaging the photon array, like everything has happened. And then of course the irritation of installing a whole new sensor system and how proud they are, how good it works, even if it failed a couple of times. All this discussion happening. The Aux crew basically sharing in its pride for getting the USS Ross to where she is right now, as they damn well should, for they are responsible for doing so. The parts for the play are being handed out rather haphazardly, and as command staff and everybody arrives, LAKAT, OLYN, Tech, Tech is kind of behind the scenes organizing the food, all this Bajoran food, and Tech, it is a juggle. Let me tell you, you are juggling plates here.
I will say
a lot of people.
We've set in the Bajoran style. We've set up like food stalls along the way, and we're making real hasbrat. It's not replicated, and so there's like these grilled vegan burritos that seem to be being created along these stands.
Nice.
Yum.
Like hasbrat might be my favorite fictional food that has ever been created. I want one. I want to try one. I want to know what they taste like.
I want to try rappuccino.
Literally the opposite side of the galaxy. So this is such a gift, particularly to our Bajoran.
Yeah.
This is the literally hardest place to get this.
Yes. Bajor is really on the other side, beyond the other side of the quadrant. LAKAT and anybody who is going to be in the play.
Okay.
As you gather around, everyone, one by one, you're getting a glimpse of who is going to be in this play. Everyone seemed to be mostly under the assumption that there was going to be auditions. Everyone's learning now as they're showing up that the crew is being really nice and being like, do you want to play this? Do you want to play it? Like everyone's sort of like, who do you want to play? And then like handing it out. At that particular moment, as everyone is having this, LAKAT, as you've gathered, you see in this crowd, you see Shanto holding a data pad and hasn't really noticed. She's just like reading. She looks so intent on reading her lines right now. Just going. But that's not what draws everyone else's attention is the collective gasp when all of a sudden you hear, Admiral on deck!
Oh my God.
And everybody stops and stands at attention. Stepping onto the deck, you see Vice Admiral April Hebert flanked by Commander Syvek. And she just goes,
once we're all
don't do that, don't do that. Everybody at ease. I'm here for the festivities. Everyone immediately eases as she approaches the crowd, and you kind of all begin to realize, oh God, she's walking up to us.
Yeah,
what's Olyn?
Olyn's immediately looking at Prawl.
Prawl, who has been sitting about 15 feet away from all of this, watching with the drink in his hand, glances over at Syvek and just goes back to his drink. Doesn't say anything. But you feel feelings. There are feelings there.
I go up and I greet the Admiral and sort of tank the interacting with the Admiral thing for my crew. Hand off her part and all that good stuff.
She raises her hand to you, Saul, and says, "Excuse me, I'm not Admiral April Haybear. I'm Fairy number 3.
Yeah. Of course. Sorry.
Syvek just quirks an eyebrow and nods to her, and she looks over at him and says, "Go enjoy yourself or meditate, Syvek. Do something to ease yourself." "I shall attempt to do so, Admiral." And he nods to you respectfully, Captain, and approaches one of the food vendors.
Did I ever tell you about that time you almost arrested me? Hasbret coming right up. Here we go. Eat 'em up, Syvek.
You start serving him food and says, "I seem to recall this incident, yes.
Oh, good.
I trust you are obeying the law today?"
Every letter.
"This food looks quite satisfactory."
I'll take that.
Takes the plate of food and nods to you. What is everybody else doing? Specifically, this is the moment where I want you all to tell me who you're playing.
Okay.
You go first, Revati.
No, you go first.
Okay. All right, so OLYN walks up. I don't suppose anyone has taken Oberon yet.
I'll say that I am helping Ensign Vexless do this because of they're very uncomfortable since the Admiral has walked on the into the promenade, and just no, OLYN, no one has yet. In fact, not many people have stepped forward yet. So thank
I
you.
will take Oberon then.
Okay, Oberon it is.
Excellent choice. Yes.
What's up? All right, LAKAT.
Yeah, so I would say that. So LAKAT, sees Shanto standing there, like looking through her data pad, and I think there's almost like a motion to move towards her, and then it like kind of sets in on like LAKAT that she's like in fictionalized Bajor right now, and like it is the Harvest Festival for like the Bajorans, and it's just like lots of feelings about youth and the fact that she has never been more aware of like her own Cardassianness. So she's gonna she takes a few steps forward, like looks at Shanto, who is like brow furrowed, like looking down her data pad, like takes a mental visual of like this moment and like how pretty she looks. And then she's just gonna turn around and go the other way and get her part, and she's gonna scroll up the list, like put her finger down on a part, and it's gonna land on Puck.
Right.
And
As I walk,
Lieutenant,
Yeah. Hands me your script data pad.
oh, thank you. Gonna go learn lines, and she's gonna beeline towards where Prawl is standing because she knows Prawl's not gonna bother her if she doesn't bother Prawl, and she's just gonna go over her lines.
And
You sit down next to Prawl, and Prawl looks at you and says, "Who'd you pick?"
Some guy named Puck. Who'd you pick?
Holds up a data pad and says, "Peter Quince."
I have no idea what that means. Do you want to run lines?
Yeah.
Hey, also before I forget real quick, I'd like to set up a meeting with you after all this is over. I just have something that I think I found that might be strange.
What did
Anyway.
you do?
Nothing. Peter Quince. And later, Jane will show him the coin that she found.
Oh, yeah. He's looking at you like...
I mean, we can either run lines or we could talk about your ex. Which would you rather do?
Jesus.
Not my ex.
Fair. Still,
You get mean when someone corners you. You know that?
You could hear that through Bonnie's mic.
Yeah, you could.
That's exactly what I was reacting to. Yeah, I do. I think you do too. I think that's what's wrong.
It's true, I do. So you actually want to use your words to talk to your girlfriend over there? Or are you going to try to win her over in a play?
Oh, no, absolutely not. We're going to win her over in a play.
Good luck. You chose Puck. And you're about to find out what that means.
You've read Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a delay, so sometimes okay.
No,
so
you're good.
As I walk over to EXEO to get my part, I stop by the captain and go, Captain, I sent you a private message that you can feel free to read later. And I'm going to go to EXEO and
Dr.
pick up hello,
What do we
EXEO.
have?
I would like to be the ass.
Bottom it is. Here you go.
Thank you very much. And as I go sit, and I'm going to just find a seat next to LAKAT and Prawl. And as I look at LAKAT really quick, I'm going to glance over and seeing the glances that she was doing with our... I'm just going to go, as I'm reading my lines, methinks, LAKAT, you should have little reason for that, and yet, to say the truth, reason and love keep little company together nowadays. And then I'm just going to get up and go practice my lines other places.
Okay.
Does she just want to run that one line with us? She looks at Prawl.
It was a brilliant moment.
Sol will walk up, put the little prop crown for Theseus on their head, just at a bit of a jaunt, because it amuses them to play absolutely the square authority figure. Just the fool of a king. And they'll grab their lines. Boop their head, or go stuff in the corner, side by side, with a private message.
As this is all happening, there is a brief moment where activity comes to a stop as Solon steps forward as Hippolyta. And Solon is in full Amazonian garb with a cut-off top and just like this faux leopard skin, like skirt draping down, spears off to the side, and hair pulled all the way up into a top ponytail, looking something like a Grecian goddess, as they were. But they just come striding in. And everyone stops and begins to applaud as they stride forward. And they just give a bow. You will note that Solon's appearance does get a look from Commander Sivek. A quirked eyebrow as Sivek watches a Vulcan enter the room in full garb. And they stride across, their hands open, and says, "Oh, I haven't done Shakespeare in so long, but... oh, there's no killing in this one. I love a good death scene. They're so much fun to overact. But I suppose I can be someone's arm candy for the evening." And that arm candy looks over at you and notices who's playing the husband and says, "You have conquered me." And they put their arm through your arm link, Captain.
We will away to practice.
Okay.
Have our Vulcan twins emerged for this?
No. The Vulcan twins are doing exactly what the Vulcan twins would do during a festival. They're live streaming it while they work.
So
They're
smart.
in the laboratory right now.
On a ship. I didn't realize just how much of an introvert heaven Star Trek could be, but I'm so happy now.
Yep, they're just watching it on the internal sensors.
Yep, okay, now I know what I would do on a starship. There we go.
I'll have to ask Jody and Jackson if that's acceptable, but something tells me that's exactly.
That's logical.
Jackson's character needs to be near the internal sensor array so that when EXEO performs, he can observe everything and actually read all the body language that this marvelous thing, that this marvelous performance is unfolding in front of him.
I mean, EXEO is the future, after all.
Yeah. All right.
I'll have my final button. EXEO has realized it's much closer to Curtin. Is now dressed appropriately as Helena, as
Awesome.
this was what Vexless asked for. And to unintentionally fuel fire, will walk up to Asmi Shanto to hand them their part as Snug, and reassure them that just channel your nervous energy. Snug is also very afraid to speak their lines in the play.
I took a second roll. I'm also Cobweb, so
Oh,
I'm just gonna do everything I can.
wonderful. Shine on. And I hand them both data pads and then saunter off.
She takes a deep breath and makes sure that everything's fastened and checks her costume and just says, "You got this, Shanto." And
Happy harvest! I shout from across the thing as I'm walking away.
so the play unfolds. The applause as the lights dim, as the artificial light comes into play. The sunlight, the dimming of the lights around the promenade itself, a hush falls across Ox Crew as hundreds and hundreds of members of Ox Crew watch their command staff, the Admiralty, and various members of the Ox Crew basically begin to perform Shakespeare.
Who
You
plays
guys-
Lysander and Hermia?
We're gonna say that Lieutenant Nadra Badim, they actually decided to play Hermia. Or no, let's say Nadra. No, I'm gonna say Nadra's going to be the one putting on the play. They're directing this, along with Vexless. Ooh, actually, let's say Vexless is playing Hermia.
Can we say, like, just because it goes against type so lovely and wonderfully, can Vren be Lysander?
Vren?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Ren is Lysander.
Okay, Vren is Lysander. I'll give it to you. If you spend 2 momentum, I will make it. All right, so Vren will be Lysander. Ensign Alex Nozumi is also in the play and is, we'll say, is one of the hard-handed men. Lieutenant Pyra Callum of the House Korath, who is a Trill Betazoid medic and a member of our Ox Crew, is actually managing the stage production as well as coordinating some of the effects that are happening with the holographic projectors. And then there's Lieutenant Jalarin, who's also science and who is getting a thrill at watching her commanding officer play Puck right now on stage.
And
The officer watches- What's that?
Titania, who's opposite Oberon.
Who wants to be Titania? Because we're running out of Ox Crew.
Really? There's
For this, yeah.
there's no other list?
We can
Sing! Oh my god, yes.
Ooh.
I get to play opposite of Sing. I'm here for it. I'll do it.
Oh yeah, let's have Sing be Titania. Excellent.
I love it.
Letting me fill out this cast. I wanted to know. Yay!
Yeah.
We all did.
Our
This was
Easter
all fan casting nonsense. Like, for just ever.
I'm just here for all the fun gender bending. It's the best.
Lots of it.
I mean, this is
It's
just
awesome.
Shakespeare, right?
Robin Snout, everybody, the play begins to unfold in front of everybody, and there's a lot of laughs as people mess up lines. There's a lot of nerves at the top, but the misreads and then the mistakes that happen cause all of the performers on stage to begin to relax. You all begin to see moments of vulnerability from everyone on stage. People laughing with each other, at each other. People like forcing through the lines. LAKAT, you begin to realize you picked a pretty big part. you begin to realize you're in almost every scene.
No, LAKAT realized like, oh fuck, and
You
she
are-
just my line end.
However, LAKAT, and those of you whose characters are reading this play for the first time, you find yourselves giggling through a lot of the lines, and the innuendo is thick, and the mischievousness is heavy, and the attitudes and the fake fighting, and watching your command staff have fights between Demetrius and Lysander and Hermia and Helena during the famous 4-person scene when Hermia and Helena look like they're about to tear each other's hair out, and everything is unfolding. The Ox crew becomes a family of laughter all throughout the promenade deck, as for a moment, underneath the stars of the Shackleton Expanse, this ancient play about love and companionship and the stupidity of miscommunication and the foolishness of what it is to be mortal unfolds before everybody over the next hour and a half. You all perform a Midsummer Night's Dream in the park, as it were, aboard the USS Ross. And you find in the final moments of this production, the spotlight dims and focuses on one Jane LAKAT, who begins to read the final lines of the play. And as as the lines begin to come out of your mouth, LAKAT, and as you're reading Puck's words, there's this whimsy to everything that you've just experienced, this letting go of all the seriousness and anxiety. For the past hour and a half, all of you have enjoyed each other's company with abandon. The anxieties that you may have had about Shanto has melted away. And everyone has just had these moments where you've enjoyed seeing the smiles. To see Captain Azuri Sull laughing, almost breathless at some of the mistakes and goofy moments. Even Admiral April Hebert has a few moments where she can't get the line out that she has. She has a single line that's basically yes, yes. She repeats over and over like a chorus. And she flubs the first yes, which leads to a small giggle in the audience, which leads her to start laughing, which leads to a roar of applause for the Admiral. And eventually the Admiral beats and says, yes, and another round of applause as the Admiral gets out the second line, and she takes a very dramatic bow. Even Syvek off to the side is just... It's a night of magic as the Bajoran Harvest Festival unfolds. And as the final lines leave your mouth and the lights go out, there is this roaring applause from Ox Crew as they celebrate not only your performance, but each other in this Harvest Festival moment. The lights come back up for a bow from every member of the crew. And as the lights come back up, Sull, from across the promenade deck, you see standing at the far end of this promenade over by the turbolift is General Kolar, who apparently has been watching from afar this whole time. And as the lights rise on the promenade deck, everyone starts hugging and cheering and bringing people flowers and complimenting each other. And running up to you, LAKAT, is Shanto, who forgets herself.
Yeah, Gina
And it
forgets herself too.
causes a few looks for those who weren't aware, as Shanto full-on rushes up and embraces you.
Yeah, Jane like full on like picks her up and like whirls her around, and
She
it's
picks her feet up, and as the two of you embrace,
oh, buddy, we're doing more than embracing.
as the two of you lock lips and kiss passionately, it is a moment that no one would have thought possible, as this Cardassian and Bajoran at this Harvest Festival who have fallen in love embrace each other here at this final moment of the evening. The Bajorans that are on hand, including the very one that threw this, Lieutenant Nadra Badim, cannot shake the significance of the moment. And they try very hard not to be too obvious, but eventually you hear some of the Bajorans begin to hum a love song that's usually heard at ceremonies. And as Shanto pulls away from you for a second, she goes, "Oh, prophets." And she realizes everyone is looking at all of you. And she just puts her hands to her face.
Definitely crying.
Down. I think that Jane's like got her face in her hands and like just wants to like keep it between them. They're in their own little corner of the universe right now.
She comes back to you the moment you do that, and everybody else vanishes for a moment.
Yeah. And it's you were so good.
I didn't know you were going to be in the play.
I did not know I was gonna be in the play. I picked the longest part.
You did, yeah.
Oh my god! But you were so good, Cobweb. I didn't know you were gonna be Cobweb.
I had like 7 lines. You were amazing.
You were amazing.
You were Puck. You were the two of you.
And just like keep kissing her because she's like, I'm kissing Asami Shanto right now, and it's like. Fuck everyone else. Like they can keep watching. Like, and anytime like Shanto gets shy, Jane's like, no, we're doing this right now because we have waited too long for this. And so Jane's very proud of her love right now.
Sitting a few feet away, over by you, Tech. Next to you, you see Vren smiling, and he looks at you and he goes, "Hey, Tech, what are my antennae doing right now?"
Oh, they're doing the thing.
You see they're relaxing back. It's basically Andorian smiling as he's just watching this, and he just goes,
Tech is fully crying, as am I. Just watching that and just, LAKAT needed this so badly.
OLYN is so happy for their sister.
"I'm feeling good. I'm going to go look at that Negvar some more." And he gets up and grabs a drink off the table.
No, my God, Jane like whips around and like, stops mid kiss, and it's like, where do you think you're going?
There's a Negvar.
I don't care.
But it's green and it's
No,
big.
I just gave the best performance of my life.
Yeah. Oh.
Give me a hug.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Great. Yeah. So she requires a hug from Ren.
Okay, you get the requirement. While all of this is happening, Captain, you've moved away from the main area where everyone is celebrating, and you reach down and pull out that data pad that was handed to you. What does it say?
Captain, after our conversation today, I see now why you were such an asset to Starfleet intelligence. I give this to you with full confidence that you will keep this private. The ingredient in question at the end of the recipe is frowned upon by Starfleet. Please know that I have never once administered this to anyone, patient or not. If you know what this ingredient is used for, then please know that I use it as a necessity. It has not and will not ever interfere with my work or my ability to perform my duties. The recipe for my tea: Direpelli leaves, an old rare herb that calms and subsides rage and anger, light cream, sugar, and nithonzone. Message ends.
So, it's a substance that is illegal in the Federation. It is an engineered drug that has multiple uses. Sometimes it can be used to suppress telepathy. It's also been used in interrogations, and it can cause, in some species, death. Like it is a neurological poison. However, it seems that she has been using it for medicinal purposes.
It's just weird enough that the old nosy former intelligence official isn't going to let this one go. So McCrell probably sees the eyebrow quirk and the pad put away, like it's going to be kept around for later.
As you put the pad away, you see Kolar nod to you before he begins to walk back onto the turbo lift, and he turns. And the doors close as the general vanishes. But behind you, Captain, is the crew that's brought you this far. Whatever happens next here at Narendra Station, whatever happens next with the Continuum, whatever happens next on the USS Ross, you have never been more sure than now that this crew, you and this crew, can face anything. If it means saving an entire planet from a celestial baby being born, to bringing peace to the Romulan Empire, to discovering the mycelial network, keeping that safe. Everything that you've all been through. As you turn and look back at the Ox crew celebrating and laughing and talking about A Midsummer Night's Dream, you realize now more than ever that you're ready for the future.
And they sure are.
That will bring an end to our sessions of Clear Skies for 2020. Thank you so much for this game and for this year of gaming. We have that letter to read here in just a second, but I just want to take a moment to thank you, my players. I just want to let everybody know it was a real nerve-wracking risk to ask folks to come back and play Star Trek again. We did not know what we were getting into. We didn't know what the landscape looked like. We only knew that it was our opportunity to come together one more time and tell a story that would belong completely to us and that we could tell as we saw fit. The only thing that made it nerve-wracking was we weren't sure if the crew was going to show up. And it wasn't because we doubted you guys. It's because we just were uncertain. It was a chaotic time. It was a very chaotic moment where a lot had changed for us. And our home, our old studio, the place where we had met each other and had learned to play with each other, it vanished from us. But because of you, we found our new ship. And because of you, Streampunks has our new home. So thank you, Ox Crew, and thank you, players, for coming with me on this journey again. I'm so excited to see what we do next. I'm going to take this moment now because Ox Crew has decided to unleash a feels bomb on us. So prepare yourselves. And I'm going to do my best. Let me take off the Admiral's coat here as we get into the after show.
I have to grab Puppy Tart.
Yeah, get settled. Here we go. Oh boy. All right. So I apologize. I'm probably gonna stumble a little bit on the reading, but I'll do my best. Let me just get some. Okay. Here we go. This is an open letter to the cast. It says, "We just wanted to say thank you for building this space for us. Over the last 11 months, we've had an unimaginable amount of fun, friendships, and feelings. This space has been a refuge from the world, a place of discovery, and a fertile ground for wonderful new friendships. Here are some fantastic stats that our Nietzsche gathered from our log of scenes and Discord information. Over the last 11 months, there have been 42,000 plus posts. There have been 1,200 plus group scenes. There have been 1,800 plus crew logs. There are 120 plus characters. There are 10 new relationships. There are 80 dates. There are 15 parties. There are 14 D&D sessions. There are 10 MMO gaming sessions. There are 14 clandestine operations. I was going to get a look from Sam. There are 6 pets showing emergence of intelligence. There are 5 characters with emergent supernatural powers. There are 6 mind dives. There are 6 counseling sessions. There are 7 cybernetic implant surgeries. There are 5 brain surgeries. 12 incidents of people falling unconscious. I hope there was alcohol involved. 3 people falling into comas. I hope there was alcohol involved. There are 3 Trill symbiont rights. 5 cases of holodeck 3 attacking people. Excellent. 4 ghost sightings. And the largest family found in the galaxy. I'm going to read the names as best I can. Alora Anofis, Angry Librarian Tellarite. Annie Desider09, Lieutenant Jola Chavalis. Avery, Lieutenant Junior Grade Ozil eBay and Lieutenant Vahiva. Biolug, which I'm gonna mess up these names, so I apologize. Biolug, who's Lieutenant Tahara Kadera. Callisto, Ensign Sarani. Crusher Titan, Ensign Nix Tanar. CX Zeman, Bobby D. D-Man 1701, Lieutenant Tapris. Dorky Duckling, great name, Lieutenant Lei To. EJ, Lieutenant Junior Grade Amara. Explorer Rowan, Lieutenant Ezigan Korme. Gemini Lightning, Ensign Tojic. Hotfoot, Kalos Hagen. Kite Finn, Lieutenant Junior Grade Ondred Vasildov. Lemon Eater, Hollow Chief Owner Maria Corona. Chef Owner. Too many chiefs. All right. Their lordship, Lord Portico, are you kidding me? Lord Portico, a Mark 6 photon torpedo. Lenitis, Lieutenant Jalarin. Moonlight, Dr. Tikara. Never, Lieutenant Junior Grade Telesin. October, Lieutenant Paya Callum. Phoenix, Ensign Suja Maris. Reno, Lieutenant Ian Miller. Rogan, 27, Lieutenant Aoife Tanos. R. Nietzsche, Lance Corporal Misha Christian. Serotonia, Ensign Ash Lemond. Sky Linux, Robin Adler. Slay. Simon Ejafet, Ensign IQ Ball, or Iqbal. I'm a little too literal in my reading sometimes. Teal Anaki, Lieutenant Junior Grade Milo Ka. Trino Kulo 21, that would be 13 of 17. Vance, Ensign Tavarla. Here are some individual messages from people that they wanted to pass on. Note, I asked each person to state whether or not they wanted to have this read publicly. So here's our messages from everybody. And thank you for bearing with me, and I apologize if I got your names incorrect. This is from Lieutenant Kite Finn, Lieutenant Junior Grade Ondred Vasildov. Congratulations on the content you have created and are creating, on gathering such an exceptional and talented group of people around you, and on having the generosity and insight to foster this community, both by including us in the show and by making room for us in chat to role play along with you. I can't tell you how much the RP has helped me get through this awful year, and how glad I am to have virtually met the people with whom I get to make stories about the Ross. Thank you so much. This is from user Trenkulo21, or 13 of 17. You're an excellent GM, and it's always enlightening and marvelous to watch you on the television screen, and your fundraising scheme has been a great success. Congratulations. Maybe I should throw more money at you. Jesus. Thank you. This is from user October, Lieutenant Callum. Okay to read on stream. I don't know if you remember the letter I sent at the beginning of the year with the scarves. Yes. for the Whimsies. But in it, I mentioned that the road home is long and difficult, and sometimes you need help finding the path. It's never been more true than now that the Whimsies, Streampunks, and you, Eric, helped me find that. I've made the best friends in my life on this server. I've laughed, I've cried, I've survived this hell year. I've refound a passion for writing that I haven't felt in half a decade, and it's all thanks to the wonderful space you've created and given us to create. Thank you for the stories you tell and the stories you inspire. This is from Lieutenant Leto, also user Dorky Duckling. I love that name. In this community, I have found the most amazing friends who I adore so much from this fandom, and for who that I am so grateful. I've had so much fun creating content on the server and watching others make content. It's been so much fun. This year has not been great, but Clear Skies has gotten me through some of the worst of it. Things haven't always been easy, but seeing y'all push through it has helped me find the strength to do so. Every day I'm excited to create more for my character and see what's going on in this rich and beautiful world you've created. Thank you all for that you do and all that you've given us. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the year, and I'm so excited to see what comes. P.S. I'm still sorry for not realizing I was standing right next to you at Gen Con last year.
I have a personal headcanon that Toe is actually Jane's counselor.
Lieutenant Leto, okay.
Anyway,
I'm down.
Fun fact.
This is from user EJ, Lieutenant Junior Grade Amara. I came to Shielded tomorrow after it was already over when I was first learning how to play / run STA. To say that watching you taught me how to be a GM how a GM should run a game would be an understatement. Your storytelling has always been incredibly engaging, and enthusiasm for the games that you run can be seen by all. When I discovered that Clear Skies was happening, I danced with excitement, but I couldn't even have imagined the beauty of the space you would create for your fans. I've met some of the most important and wonderful people in my life among the Whimsies, made friendships that I couldn't have otherwise, and as a result, I've grown into a better, happier person in ways I couldn't have predicted. I'm writing again for the first time in more than a decade, and that started here thanks to you, Clear Skies, and the Whimsy server forever impacted my life in the most positive of ways. I will always be thankful to you for that. Jeez, you guys. This is from Serotonia, Ensign Ash Lemond. I watched all of S.H.I.E.L.D. tomorrow, not having watched a single Trek, and I started out Clear Skies RP in the same way. Ash was specifically created to allow me to interact in this space with little knowledge as I had, and the space was always welcoming to a newbie like me. Through this space, I've laughed and cried and found my way through a hellish year where time had no meaning and I was desperate to find anything to ground me. I've made friends, found myself in 2 different ongoing campaigns, one D&D, one STA, with people that I've RP'd with, and yes, I've started Trek finally. I caught up with Disco halfway through season 3 of Voyager, and I'm bouncing around DS9 with an RP friend. Thank you for being a kind person that thank you for being the kind of person that these kind of people coalesce around. And shout out to the Elder Mods, hell yeah, for their part in keeping the space safe and welcoming. Shout out to the Elder Mods, hell yes. Toss a coin to your Elder Mods. Got a few more here. Gosh, you guys. This is from Lieutenant Jola Savalas, also known as Annie Disaster 09. Hey, look, I finally got it. In season 3 of Discovery, spoilers if anyone has not yet watched it. Uh-oh. Are we good to talk about spoilers? Oh, this is a good spoiler. This is okay. This is okay. This is an okay spoiler. Saru uses the work of Giotto. I hope that's correct. The artist that gave birth to the Renaissance. Sam, can you check me on that? Giotto.
Sorry, I only just put my earbud back in because I heard spoilers.
Oh, right.
Hear us out.
It's okay. This is okay.
What pronunciation did you need from me?
Giotto. Giotto, the artist that gave birth to the Renaissance.
Giotto, yeah.
Giotto. As a metaphor, he's an artist who helped break the Europeans from the Dark Ages by introducing them to the 3-point perspective. Saru then continues on by saying that from that new perspective, a different time helps encourage us all to look up. The space that you have given us, the stories you and your friends tell us each week, and the encouragement for all of us to come together as friends and in many ways as families to write, create, are all allowing us to collectively look up at the stars. Over the course of this year, we have faced many dark times, but this space where we all get to laugh, write, play, and enjoy a universe. You got me. And enjoy a universe filled with so much hope is the lighted torch that will help us get through the darkness we face. This platform has helped me become a better writer, a better listener, and a better friend to many people I've had the honor to meet through this server. You inspire me to keep pursuing my own dreams because you've shown me that doing so is possible. And even if things don't exactly go the way I want them to, and I trip or fall or face shortcomings, I know that I have the support of a community to help pick me back up and guide me through that path, onto my path again and again. I've made some of the best friends and I've forged some of the closest relationships with others throughout this year, and that is largely thanks to the space you've created for us to come together. Thank you to you, your friends, and the wonderful people that have tapped us as mods, for being torchbearers for us and for encouraging us. I literally can't see through the tears. Encouraging us to light for others when we can. And thank you for giving what you saw, that new perspective, to all of us so that we can continue to look up. Someone has weaponized writing. All right. This is from Moonlight. Dr. Takara. In Callisto 6, Cass tells her uncle, "You taught me to love my scars." You, Eric, have taught me to love my scars and to find beauty in all of life's difficult moments. The stories that you have told, the moments you've allowed the players to explore, and the love for which you embrace this community mean more than I will ever be able to express. When I came out as non-binary, I chose the name Moonlight because of it.
Yep, keep going. Why did they choose the name Moonlight, Eric?
Because of a character you created. A character who went through unspeakable trauma during childhood and still had hope and joy in her heart. That is the way I want to live. Yes, I experienced trauma, but Moonlight gave me hope that it doesn't have to mean I become jaded and bitter, and I can still make a difference and fight those in similar situations. You've also shown me what it means to live well with ADHD and not despise it. You are the reason I finally started running RPGs. You, at least from my perspective, allow yourself to make mistakes or lose words or wonder from the thought without becoming upset at yourself. I was only recently diagnosed both ADHD and autistic, and I'm still learning what that means. You are one of the people I'm attempting to model myself after. There's so much more I want to say about how much you and the stories you tell have helped me. But I'm struggling to find the words, so I'll end this. Thank you. I'm not crying. I'm being controlled by the master. Oh, yeah. Well, I know what that's like, damn master. Okay, bloody hell. How we doing, guys? How we doing? All right.
I'm wearing makeup and it's a problem.
Yeah. All right. All right. All right. All right. I got this. I got this. I got this. This is from Explorer Rowan, Lieutenant. Oh, this is a cool name. Ezegan Cormain. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for creating this space for us. I only found Whimsy RP this year, and it's been a bright spot in an otherwise pretty miserable year. I have ADHD and PTSD, and I have an incredibly difficult time writing. I like writing. I feel like I have stories to tell, but my disability has made it so difficult to actually get any writing done. I look at a blank page and those stories in my head evaporate. It's been one of my biggest frustrations my whole life. But here, it's just been so easy. Someone, Kite, I think, did the math for me. Since my first RP post at the end of February, I've been averaging one scene log a day. That's huge for me. I'm finally getting a regular practice, writing, honing my skills, and telling better and better stories. You've given me the gift of a place to make my words safely and without judgment, and I can't thank you enough. Also, I've made so many fantastic friends here, both in and out of character. There are so many people I have to hug at a convention once the pandemic is over. I've never been to Gen Con, but now I know I need to, because this is the most wonderful and supportive online community I've ever been a part of. My depression and PTSD has had me in a really bad place for the last several years, and I've had a lot of trouble making and keeping friendships, not to mention getting to know myself as trans. This community has been essential in my own healing process. I love each and every person on this server, and I couldn't ask for a better found family. You know, if we were in person, I would be smart enough to hand this off and let other people take a turn reading. Okay. This is from D-Man 1701, Lieutenant Priss. Y'all are... here we go. I came to the Stream Punks because I was starting up an STA game and wanted to see how it was run. I found Shield of Tomorrow was instantly hooked. After it ended, I was sad, so were we, but kept an eye out for what the punks were doing because you were all so much fun to watch, and I learned a lot from you. I found Discord because of you and the games you run, and I'm so glad of the RP section where I get to indulge my player side. Every week, I wish I could play along with all of you. I consider you, Eric, a mentor to me in the realm of game mastering, and I love the spoiler streams where you can talk about the process and we can pick your brain. Not to say that I don't like your other streams. I look forward to any time you stream. You're also giving and generous and have made a loving, inclusive, accepting community that is a joy to be a part of. You say you can never thank us enough for our support. Well, we can't thank you enough for giving us such a lovely place to be ourselves, have fun, and to hang out with such great friends. The support is the least we can do in return. Thank you. Oh, man. Okay. We've got more. How are y'all doing? This is from Silenix, the Robin Adler. Been following you guys since the first trip into Star Trek universe, and I don't plan to leave anytime soon. Thank you to you guys. I ran an awesome game in the Cypher system and met some great new friends at my college, and you've inspired me to branch out into new realms of nerdiness. You guys have been incredible to watch and see your group and your characters grow over the years. I'm grateful I and my little holographic goose got to be a small part of the story. I hope you know how much we appreciate you all for the hard work you and the crew put in. Thank you. This is from Callisto, Insincerini. Eric and Cass, y'all already know how much I treasure being a part of the community from the mod side of things. Thanks for making such an amazing space for creativity and fun in a world that can sometimes be dark and scary. Y'all are family, fans, friends, crewmates. I wouldn't be half the MB I am today without this community. Heart, heart, heart. This is from CXZ, Bobby D. I'm hardly ever there, hardly ever posting nowadays, but I'm always proud to have witnessed a community built upon the shoulders of the passion givers. I've struggled with the creativity since my art school days. It kind of died in me at the time, but sometimes I'm lucky enough to get a glimpse at what it used to be like to draw with joy, nonstop, back when I was a kid. Some of those rare times happened watching you, Eric, and your jolly band of heroes, and watching this community doing their choir in the back. Some of the best works, may I say, only happen because all of these whimsy hearts of yours. You're doing the work of muses. You light our souls ablaze again. You make it worth giving back, creating, telling stories. You remind us why we do it. You remind me why I got into the arts in the first place. I'm happy and better to have known these moments. I have no doubt I'm not the only one here, and I hope you feel the full intensity of all the love from this community has for you. Yeah, we're getting dosed pretty hard. This is from Hotfoot. Kalos Hagen says, Dear Eric, cast, and crew, that's you, Jake. I know you're here. You're still with us, right, Jake?
I'm still here. I'm listening.
You are a part of this. This is all dedicated to you, too. Dear Eric, cast, and crew, I've been busy this year, and so have fallen a bit behind in keeping up with the community and the server, but you were all fantastic and wonderful. Whenever I check in, everyone is supporting each other, helping each other through difficulties, and engaging in wonderful flights of creativity and joy. Eric, you can tell some things about someone by the company they keep, and you are, as far as I can tell, an utterly lovely individual. I'm pretty lucky, I will say that. This community is a delightful extension of that, building a space for wonderful people to gather in. I got my start watching your shows while exploring space in my own nerdy and delightful way, and I look forward to picking it back up again in the near future. Until then, I'll always be around, thankful to you and everyone here for their for being whimsical and lovely. Oh no, we're nearing the end. I'm kind of sad. This is Teal and a Cookie, Lieutenant Junior Grade Mellow Ka. Says, this year, I've struggled with possibility. It is the direct actions of you, the Stream Punks, and the Ox crew that has allowed me to believe in it. You've created a community of creators. Beyond this, you've created a community of creators that brims with queer, disabled, and neurodiverse people. For many people, you have created possibility. I will struggle with this for a while longer. Sometimes I do not believe I can be a chronically ill creator. Sometimes I do not believe that I have a voice worth the effort it takes to speak it, but the voices of clear skies in this community have consistently proven me wrong. I learned this year that I can make things even when I believe it's impossible for me to create. Tonight, as I dream of whimsy and wild things, there is nothing more important to me than that belief. Thank you.
No, Kai, listen to your playlist all the time on Spotify. Your character.
Nice. This is from Lemon Eater. Hollow Chef owner Marina Corona. To Eric, the Stream Punks, and the Proto Punks that came before. The Proto Punks. What I love most and appreciate about you is the sense of joy, family, and safety that you create campaign after campaign. I still think about Eric's NPC mom yelling at Oya, Amy being unveiled as the doctor, and so many other beautiful little scenes. A big congratulations to Eliza on helming the all BIPOC campaign in Blood of the Void. Can't wait to hear the story that you all tell, sending hollow tacos and funnel cakes. Oh my God, we will take them. Yes. Oh, funnel cakes. God, I miss funnel cakes. This is from Crusher Titan, who says, to the wonderful Stream Punks, I literally cannot say this enough. Thank you. You made me realize it, but the things you do make such a difference. For me, you've been a light when I was going through some very dark times. Your boundless excitement, passion, curiosity, and kindness foster safe places for people to just be. Your advocacy for those on the fringes was one of the big things that helped me find the courage to come out to someone for the very first time. Damn it, I was doing so good. Damn it. All right, EXE stopped working. You know that being a functional human being means rest and knowing your own limits, and encourage others to do the same. The support you all have, it's not people randomly being nice. We support you because you support us. And I know for a fact that I would not be the same person today if I hadn't stumbled across an episode of something called Callisto 6. So again, and again, and again, thank you. Jamie, AKA Crusher Titan. Whew. Whew. Okay. Gosh. Vengeance is yours, my God. Okay, a couple more to go here. This is from user Phoenix, Ensign Suja Maris. To Eric and all the Stream Punks, I just want to thank all of you for your generosity of spirit and the joy that each and every one of you brings to this community. From Eric's TBD RPG to now Clear Skies and Blood of the Void, along with the short run campaigns and one-shots. I miss our Dino Kids. All of you have poured your love of gaming and telling stories into these shows and has resonated with each and every member of the community. I keep calling it a community, but for me, it's more than that, much more. A big theme that was and is part of these shows was found family. You don't need a blood tie to be family. And that is what the Aux crew is, family. As a family, we have lifted each other up when it was needed, and the stories you all tell lift us up in these rough times. And we are eternally grateful for that. Thank you for all of your talent, for creating a space where we could all become a wonderful, inclusive, safe, and happy family. Casey, AKA Phoenix, AKA DJ Phoenix. This is from user Avery, Starbright, Lieutenant Junior Grade Ozzel, and Lieutenant Vahiva. This is Dear Eric, Sam, Aki, Bonnie, Xander, Gina, REVATI, etc., etc. Thank you so much for being a huge inspiration to all of us. I know personally you've inspired me to stream my own tabletop RPG content and tell stories for others to hear and enjoy. Thank you for the hours upon hours of amazing roleplay that we fans consume joyously. Live long and prosper, Avery. Okay. From Slay, time 628 on Twitch. Dear Stream Punks, thank you for every single minute of content you've given us. I would like to give a special thank you to Sam. Their character, Janelle Rue, was my first exposure to a non-binary person. Through a lot of research and self-reflection, I realized that I was non-binary, and they started me on a journey, so thank you. May you always roll crits, Slay. Okay. got two more. I got two more. I gotta power through this. Okay. Man. Okay. This is from Alora Anofis, Angry Librarian Tellarite. Okay to read on screen. Dear once and future Streampunks, I found you right at the beginning of season 3 of Callisto 6, and I remember the excitement I felt when I found out that Moonlight was ace. What I read is good representation of an exceedingly rare, anywhere, queer platonic relationship between Sal and Moonlight. Since then, we've had ghost stories and dinosaurs. Ferengi, he used to be a daemon, and spies, but through it all, the hope punk shines through, and y'all have been beacons of hope through this hellscape of a year, but it looks like the first rays of sun are probing towards the horizon, and the black of night is just starting to turn to velvet. I cannot wait to see what comes next. Last one from user Biolug, also known as Lieutenant Tahara Kadera. Dear Streampunks, thank you for showing me hope and joy on screen, for all the whimsy and friendship you made possible with enabling the League, and for making me cry. I love you all. You enrich my world. Biolug.
Payback.
Yep.
Oh, I never cry.
I don't really have words right now. I make a living as a storyteller, and I got nothing for you. I don't have words.
Hey, Streampunks, I love you a lot.
We love you a lot. So give me your hands if we be friends. It's Rob off the store of it.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, my players. Thank you, Ox Crew, Streampunks, all y'all. Thank you, QueueTimes. Thank you, Jake. Take a bow, Jake. Say hi to everybody. For God's sakes.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much, Jake, for giving us a home when we had lost ours, and for being supportive and giving us a platform to tell these stories on. I just gratitude. It's all I just gratitude. I don't have anything else. I'm just overwhelmed. Thank you so much for these messages.
What fools these Streampunks be.
Of course, you will still be able to find us on our various streams. This is going to do it for the year for Clear Skies. Blood of the Void still has one more game session coming up, and you're going to want to tune in for that one because there's still some reveals happening. So definitely catch that one. Jake, if I'm correct, we are back on the 7th of January. Is that correct? No. When are we back? The 11th.
We're back the 11th.
11th. 7th.
That being said, I would like to say something real quick.
Yeah.
Chandra has actually set up that we're going to be doing a marathon run of all of Clear Skies during the break. So while we are gone, we are still here for you all to watch and have fun and whatnot. So we'll be there.
Awesome. Oh man, great. That's fantastic. Thank you, Chandra. Thank you, Elder Mods. But before we go, I do want to just take a moment, just real quick, I have to take this moment to thank the mods. As Kato, Mitch, Chandra, Librarian Liz, Callisto, and now Meaning of Night. This was an overwhelming task to try to get started again, and it would not have been possible if the mods hadn't decided to lend their time and energy and talent into helping us and protecting this community. And we just cannot thank you enough. We cannot thank you enough. And we're always going to tell people to support the Elder Mods. Y'all are the heroes. Y'all are our Samwise. Thank you so, so much for everything. And we will see you guys in 2021, but definitely tune into our personal streams because we're going to be around. We'll be available. We will return to the USS Ross in the new year. Until then, my friends, we love you so much. Thank you. Hailing frequencies are closed.